The Wheel of Time, the best fantasy series. These are the adventures of the Black Tower podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new theories, to seek out incorrect opinions and destroy them, to boldly say, go fuck yourself when no one else will.
Starring Daniel L. Thor, Andrew Bijan Mahale, and Josh Soravan Mahale.
All I can think of right now is my favorite scene where they were stuck in the holodeck, and it was the Star Trek, and they were doing like a Robin Hood thing, and Worf was, "Sir, I protest. I am not a merry man." One of the greatest scenes in that show.
And they
He
were
is
all
a
like,
good kitty.
Worf,
You must pet him
Worf.
and tell him he is a good kitty.
Worf. We're all aware that you're not a merry man. How about you shut the fuck up? The day that you are a merry man is the day that everything goes to hell in a handbasket.
Oh boy. Well, and the fun part is, and I know this is a bit of a tangent, but I was at Comic-Con a couple years back here in Salt Lake City, and the bridge crew was at Comic-Con. It was amazing. They had everybody was here except LeVar Burton. He had to cancel last minute for something. And who else was it? There was one other member of the bridge crew that was there, but they had Tasha Yar was there, Counselor Troy, Captain Picard, Brent Spiner, Data was there, Jonathan Frakes, Commander Riker was there. Dude, it was really cool. And one of the things they started doing was they started asking, about character development and things like this. And this is something I didn't know. And I'm not a huge Trekkie, so all you huge Trekkie folks out there, you probably already knew this. But
Josh isn't a huge Trekkie.
They asked Michael Dorn, they were like, hey, you're going to be a Klingon and you're going to come onto the bridge crew. You're going to kind of have some creative license on how your character is developed. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So he came out onto the set, and everybody's doing their thing. Oh, he came out. And he came out on set and everybody was doing their thing. They were happy. They were getting along. And he was just like, I felt like we needed some tension. So I just hated everybody and hated everything. And that's how I treated my character. So like the reason why Worf is grumpy is because he's like, Michael Dorn came out and was like, I feel like this guy just needs to hate everything.
You know what? I feel like there's too much cohesion on set. I think that it would be nice if somebody fucking hated everyone.
But it worked so well.
No, it totally
he did such a good job with that.
Be the angsty teen.
It was great. It was. He definitely was the angsty teen of that.
Number one. If I told you the Commander Worf's head looked like a fanny, would you join me in a laugh? Why, yes, I would. All right, here we go. Commander Worf's head looks like a fanny. You can all suck my ridges.
That's right. So tonight's episode is episodic. Tonight's episode is pure liquid taint being poured with ocular funnels into your auditory canals. Please join us as Daniel is pleased to give you the spoiler warning.
All right, guys. If any of you were here last week, you'll know that spoilers are the same. Spoilers are the same. This character that we're doing part 2 on is through the whole series, and she's very important. You've been warned. We're going to go all the way through the series. It's like last page shit right there. You've been warned.
Yep. Taking a page from Rand, then we are going to do our absolute best, the three of us together, in a bit of reverse irony to finish Elaine. And we're not going to stop till everyone is satisfied.
That's right. Because we're all about satisfying those who come to be satisfied.
And we live in her country, so.
And we're also
I mean,
like super about satisfying queens.
I mean, there is that.
I mean,
well.
The man's
hashtag
not
deal
wrong.
with it. All right, so when last
that's it. There's really nothing else I can add to that. That was perfect right there.
when last
Episode
we
done.
met our heroine, she was traveling with Nynaeve in Valen Luca's traveling circus under the alias of Moralin. And they're traveling through Amadick. And they are with Julin and Tom. They've met a Sean Chan elephant tamer. Sorry, my bad. The Sarandon who what are the fuck? What do the Sean Chan call elephants? Shredded. There we go. I just literally in my head have always thought of them as elephants, and like I know and read in the book that they're called Shredded, and I'm like elephants.
Yeah, because the woman's name is
Sarandon.
Sarandon. That's actually probably pronounced a lot better than mine.
Yeah, it's Susan Sarandon. And who's going to play her in the show?
That's right.
Susan Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon. By a strange turn of irony.
But actually,
Just
I
fate.
take that back. You know who is going to play Sarandon? Not Susan Sarandon. She's going to play Aggianan. Just to fuck with people. And then people will be like, oh yeah, the Sarandon. And they'll be like, wait, the one who's Sarandon in the show or the one who's played by Susan Sarandon? And they'll be like, I don't fucking
Character
know.
Sarandon or actress Sarandon?
Oh my god, that's one
So
of
they're
my
in
favorite
Valen
fucking posts. Again, I just said that twice. I'm sorry.
It is. You have a lot of favorite
I do
posts,
have a lot of posts I like, but it's the one where
and that's okay. You're a passionate guy.
where Hagrid
So it's
comes
okay.
into the cabin that they're that the Dursleys are all on the water, and he's like,
Dry up,
Oh.
Dursley, you great prune.
yes. But before that, he's like, "Oh, Harry," and then Dudley's like, I'm not Harry." But the actor's name is Harry, and you're like, you lying little shit.
Oh yeah, because he's like, oh, you've grown a lot since the last I met you, or last I saw you,
Yeah, exactly.
especially a bit around the middle, I must say.
And he's like,
That was a good scene.
I'm not Harry. And you're like, yeah, you are, you lying sack of shit.
Yes, you. That just shows how good of an actor that kid is.
I know, right? I didn't know for
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Or that's why he stuttered
I
so
didn't
much
know.
saying the line.
Yeah, maybe he had a hard time getting through it.
The kid couldn't lie.
I mean, to be fair, how
Yes.
would you react if you ran away after being terrorized by magical letters? Your dad is losing his mind. He moves you to a lighthouse on a rock, and a giant breaks down the door, and the first thing he does is call you the wrong name and fat.
Yeah.
To be
Dude,
fair,
I love
I'd probably
it.
stutter like
I wouldn't stutter at all. I'd be like, dude, you're a giant. And while I'm not Harry, can I come too? Because
Well,
fuck my
that-
dad. He's a douchebag. He gives me all
All
these
can come who
birthday
have the
presents,
talent.
but he doesn't actually go ahead and love me.
But
You got to remember, in order to
doesn't
show that
know
you can
that.
come, you have to be able to swish and flick your wand with expert
oh
accuracy.
boy,
I'm sorry. Who doesn't know how to swish and flick their wand? Oh, Ron. My bad.
What was the guy's name? Seamus or whatever, the one that always blew up everything.
Yeah, Seamus.
Wingardium
Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa. I think we're gonna need another feather
So-
over here, Professor.
Elaine and Nynaeve
Yes.
are at Val and Luca's circus. They're not just Elaine and Nynaeve at this point. They have a whole band of merry men. See how I did that?
And this is
Joke
No, it's
from the
not.
beginning.
They only
What?
have the two.
yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, all they have is Tom. I mean, they're with the rest of the circus, but all they have is
Tom
Tom
and Julian.
Yeah, and Julian.
Tom and Julian, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
their band
that's
of
two
merry men.
people.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a
It's a-
band
that
of
could be a
merry
band.
men. That's two.
The White Stripes
I'm
was
sorry.
two people, and they were a band.
Yeah, they were a band.
Yo.
Not a band of merry men. They were a band. Are
don't
you
know
saying
what just
that?
happened there?
I mean, like, to be fair, I think that Tom and Julian would be a dope ass band.
Dude, can you imagine? Like Tom would be like over there on his harp, like distorted heavy metal harp, and Julian would be like, "I got that guy."
Yes, they have to play Smoke on the Water and then Purple Rain.
Wait, no, they have to play Black Magic Woman.
Ooh, now that would be appropriate.
Tom has to play what is the song? I see a red door and I want
black?
to paint it black.
Paint it black?
No colors
actually, yeah, you're
anymore.
right.
I wanted to turn.
Are you kidding me?
black.
Dude, Mazrim Taim sings that song.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's
Tom
a
has
time
to do
song.
it because of the Redstone Doorway in Moraine.
I see what you did there.
Shit.
I see a red Terrangrial and I want to save my love.
Oh boy.
Forget
And
that
everybody's like,
crazy
"Your love."
bitch she took with her.
And everybody's looking at him like, "Your love? What are you
What?
talking about, Tom?" And he's like, "I could see volumes in her eyebrow
Listen,
lift."
It wasn't expressly
Do you know
portrayed
what?
in the words, so it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's fake news.
This just
Robert Jordan didn't put it there
This
for
just
me to
reminded
read
me-
very easily, so therefore it is not a part of the story, and we're not going to consider it.
This-
I write better stories.
This reminds me of, and again, I know there's a bit of digression here,
What?
but
In the
if you guys go
podcast?
to Weird Al, okay, and all my Weird Al peeps, where you at? What?
Yeah, you got me
Listen
so
to the
far.
song Jackson Park Express.
Oh, it's such a good
He
song.
wrote that song. He wrote that song about Dice Tomorrow.
No, he didn't.
Mic drop.
You're a liar.
Yeah, he did. Go listen to the song again.
You're a
Go
liar.
listen to the song again. Listen to the song again.
Make me.
So on that note of Weird Al Yankovic, we should have Amish Paradise as the theme song for the traveling people.
Been spending most our lives living in a
in
tinker's
paradise.
paradise. Been spending
Perrin,
most our
Egwene, and
lives
Elias-
living in a tinker's paradise.
Been
Daniel, you gotta
murdered
go.
once or twice, living in a tinker's paradise.
As I
They
walk
say
through the
I
valley of
saw their shit.
Tuathian, I'll take a look at my life and realize the way a leaf is wrong.
Oh wait, is this Aram singing?
Oh yeah,
just
dude,
Aram,
this is
man.
absolutely Aram. Are you kidding me? The only person
I
who's
once
I've
saw a
been
pretty
following
girl
the
and
leads
she
so
danced
long
with
that-
me. She showed me her ankle and I thought, yee.
I've been following the way of the leaf so long that even Elias thinks that my mind is gone. I like it. I like it. This is a good segue into our topic, guys.
What topic?
It has
We have a topic?
literally
Topic?
nothing to do with the lane.
Do we do topics around here?
Who would do such a thing?
So
I mean, we say we do topics. We just have a bunch
mean-
of tangents, and at the core, it's like one of those Tootsie Pops. There's just all the actual sucker part around it is the tangents, and the core is the actual topic. That's why we have so many episodes broken down into like a series.
it's the tree. The episodes are like a mighty tree. Okay, the topic is the trunk of the tree, and we are the squirrels twittering around the branches, collecting the fruits of the tree.
And every single day they'll be twittering. Twittering away there.
Every day I'm twittering.
Mealtime, short time, supper time too. Oh, that's frittering. Frittering is the word. Sorry, my bad.
Whatever.
So on
Whatever.
to the
Whatever.
topic.
So on to the topic. So they're at the traveling circus, and
This is where I think
Lucas
this is-
magical mystery machine.
menagerie.
His
so. I think the circus is where
menage a
Nynaeve,
trois.
where Nynaeve really starts to embrace the more revealing dresses while complaining about the more revealing dresses.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
No. Nynaeve is forced to wear them to quote please the crowd, and she
And she continues
Hates
to wear
them.
them to please Lan.
Exactly. That's what it was, is she kind of makes peace with it because she kind of has to, because Luca's like, damn, that girl be thick. And he's like trying to get with it.
Who this?
And she's not
Who
having
this?
any of it. She ain't having any of it.
He's like, my boo is the
And-
last king of the
and
Valkyrie. He'll slice your throat, demon.
That's right. She's like, I got that gold from that Malkir hanging between my breasts. Luca trying to test me. He don't know the rest.
It's just Black
what I'm
Tower
saying? So it's just
podcast, the
free flow.
musical today.
Really? Like, I fucking love it. This is great.
But no, so yeah, but then she like, I think that's the progression, is she Luca gives it to her and she's like, I am not fucking
Yeah.
wearing that. And they're like, you kind of have to,
Yeah.
because you were a real big dick to Luca and threw him like a copper coin last time we met him. Now he's agreed to let us travel with him, and it's the only way we can be safe from the White Cloaks, and you kind of owe him, and plus you kind of have to do it. So stop being a ninny.
Stop
and
being
do
a
it.
little bitch.
But Elaine is a
So,
lot more accepting.
In order to
right?
accept that, she's like, well, I bet I could wear this for land.
Yeah.
I could wear this for land.
Yeah. Just like
And
she's
Elena's
Like
private.
getting into it. She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like I could show Lan my ample bosom, and and so she starts to wear it, but then she like wears it a shawl over it, and she's super hot, but she's still like, I gotta wear this shawl so nobody sees my boobage.
Yeah. Whereas Elaine is just like, she's accepting of it because all she's ever known is palace life, and then her short stint at the White Tower before all hell broke loose, and she was, almost kidnapped. Well, she was kind of kidnapped.
Before all shade
But not
Ghoul
truly
broke
kidnapped.
loose.
She was straight up.
She
kidnapped,
was.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, so Leandrin
Elaine
just lied to her, got her
wasn't-
to go with her.
Yeah.
Leandrin is a real and proper.
She was
bitch.
the creepy guy with the free candy van. But it was
True.
but Leandrin was just the delivery person, right? The true
I mean-
kidnappers were the Seanchan, and Elaine and Nynaeve got away from it. Whereas Min
That's
and Egwene obviously weren't so lucky. But so like with all that, like Elaine she wants to experience the outside world. It's that kind of stereotypical trope of the noble born, noble raised child that just wants to go and see the world outside. It's half the premise of the first Aladdin movie, right?
It's the
Jasmine wants to
I
entire
go
was
and
just
see
gonna
everything.
say, I refer to this as the
Oh, yeah.
Jasmine portion
Yes, exactly.
of her character arc,
Yeah.
because she's like away from all of her duties, right? She's, and I've referred to this previously in the show, where she's playing at Aes Sedai, all the while knowing that she has to go back to Camelin at some point, but not yet. We've got to go do this,
Yeah.
and then we've got to go do that, and then we got to go do that, and she's right now she's in the Jasmine portion of her story because she wants to see the common folk.
Well, and of course, again, it's ridiculous. I mean, like it makes sense. It does, but it's also so ridiculous on some level because it's every time. And again, let me be very clear here. Elaine's a great character. I actually really like Elaine, and especially, though not limited to, when she actually does go do the shit in Camelin, I actually think that she's really smart and really capable and all of that. But what is her reasoning?
Right.
For every single thing that she does, from the point that she goes to the White Tower to the point where she gets back to Camelin, is it ever, because this is the right thing to do? Is it ever because my friends need me? Is it ever because, blah, blah, blah? No. Every single time it's like, wait, I'm sorry. You guys think you're going to go off on an adventure without me? And you're like,
me?
yeah, go fuck yourself.
I mean, it's kind of funny because literally, like the second time she does that, it bites her in the ass.
Oh, every time she does it,
Vigorously.
she's just like,
Like,
hey, could we not?
that lion
do
hops
that?
on that ass and just gnaws an entire cheek off, and luckily
Well, and
she
I
gets away
loved-
with that.
That tiger.
I loved
Raja.
I loved when
Yeah,
they were in the tower, and I know this is backtracking on her character a little bit.
Sure.
But I
Wait,
love when
not
they were
going in
in the
chronological
tower.
order?
Working in the kitchens, and Swan Sanche has charged Avienda and Egwene to hunt down the Black Aja, and she comes up, and it's Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine, all three working the spit on this big side of beef or lamb or whatever they're roasting.
That side of
Swan
lamb.
goes
Gotta
in
work the
there
spit
and,
on
like,
the meat, man. It's how it has
blue
to be.
eyes blazing to scare everybody away, and she goes to yell at Elaine and say, "Oh, the words coming out of your mouth, go see the mistress of novices." And Egwene's like, "No, Swan, don't do that." And Swan's like, "Okay, you too, dummy." And she looks over at Nynaeve like pleading, "Please don't say anything because I'm here to talk to you and they're stupid." and at the end of it, at the end of the whole exchange, she's like, "Okay, I'm going to give you these letters. I'm going to give you this gold, and I expect that Elaine is going with you." And Nynaeve is like,
What do you mean Elaine's
yes?
going with us? That would
She
be
doesn't even
crazy.
know what
Yeah,
we're
because
talking about. She has no
there's
clue.
no way Elaine was getting left behind.
Yeah.
Because there and
again,
there is a genuine bond of like sistership and friendship
Oh,
there,
absolutely.
and they are 3 peas in a pod kind of a thing. So
just like 3 people I know.
What?
oh
Yeah, he got
I
it.
didn't pee in my pod. I swear. I went outside.
and
Liar.
I'm one of those 3, right?
Liar. You peed in your pod. I was there.
So
One of the things we should do
they
from now
make
on, if anybody
their-
ever says like you're not following the events in the order they happen, be like they're neither beginnings nor endings to the wheel of time.
the wheel.
No,
leaves
there
them.
are neither beginnings nor endings to the Black Tower podcast.
That's true.
That's true.
That's,
That is a solid fact, my friend.
we're bound to the horn, not because we're heroes,
We are.
but because you need a certain amount of taint in your life to keep things 100.
Also, we're just bound to the
When you said that, all I could think of was Futurama in the Human Horn episode.
No, I think that we're bound to the horn because we're all just a little horny.
Stop saying bound to the horn.
You know the scene in Titanic where there's the little band that plays all the time while all chaos is going on? That's us. That's
Yep.
us. We're just here to
True.
try to lighten the mood while everybody is screaming, oh,
While
God.
everybody else is going insane.
And we're just standing there, they're like, somebody blow the horn of heroes. And we're like, you can blow my horn.
Hashtag bound to the horn. That-
Meanwhile, reality itself is crumbling. But speaking of
right.
reality, in the reality for Elaine, it's while after she meets the
Elaine
Shan woman
doesn't
who
have
has
reality.
well,
She has
her
fantasies.
version of reality. This is when
Her
she
truth,
starts.
Daniel.
She's always like
Go
messing with.
die in a fire.
So she's always messing with the twisted stone ring that they got from Egwene, right?
Right.
And
right.
she begins to think, she's like, I could figure out how to make this. And initially, I know my thought was, yeah, fucking right.
Right.
Like nobody's been able
Way
to
to
make
go,
one. And it's
Elaine.
like, okay. But I'm like, but on the other hand, that could be very useful for further story plot. And then you wind up finding, later on you read things where like Nynaeve heals Logain and everything. She does it because she's just curious and is like, oh, maybe I can do this. And then does it.
Yeah.
So, on a reread, you're like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see. I mean, it's I don't want to call it. It's not really a plot device, but it adds to the plot, and
Well,
I think it's better. I think it's better than
Elaine
just
being
finding some
mini
random
Ta'Veren.
person that can do it.
She's not actually technically Ta'Veren in the like definition of the books, but Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine are all very much like
Well,
kind
here's the
of
thing.
Ta'Veren.
They could be
This
proxy
is-
to
this
Viren,
is-
right? Because Rand is, Matt is, and
Right.
Perrin is, and there's a lot of things that Rand, Matt, and Perrin all need a lot of other characters to do. So
exactly.
who's
Fair.
to say their Ta'Veren nature doesn't just extend to other characters? So where like Egwene,
Right.
Nynaeve, Elaine, Lan, all these other people aren't technically Ta'Veren, they could be proxy Ta'Veren because if to succeed in the last battle,
Exactly.
a portion of it required
Exactly.
that Rand, Matt, and Perrin needed more of the Foxhead Medallion made, then their Ta'Veren nature could theoretically
Whoa,
work in a way to make
spoilers.
it work for Elaine. We already gave the spoiler
No,
warning.
I know. I'm kidding.
I mean, we kind of did. You just said, remember last episode? Same as that.
Well, I did give a
Basically,
little
it's
bit more
all the way
detail,
through the
thank
series.
Oh, okay,
you.
you did.
All,
I think it was more than
all
sufficient, to
the
be honest with you.
spoilers. No, I really like that because when they talk about a Ta'veren, what do they say? They always say it's as to be next to a Ta'veren is to be a leaf going down, caught in a river current. You can't break free of a Ta'veren pull, and the stronger someone is Ta'veren, the stronger their pull is. And at this point in time, we've already had the Stone of Tyr, where Rand and Elaine have been canoodling in secret corners, which is not
they've
such
been
a
candle
secret.
doing.
Why don't you come over here and suck my tongue noodle? Come here, kiss me.
Whoa!
That is the greatest metaphor. That is the greatest.
But it's
visual
floppy and wet like a
of
spaghetti
making out.
noodle. Come on now,
I love it. Tongue noodle.
tongue noodle.
Suck my tongue noodle.
Why don't you come over here and say that to my face, you lip noodle?
Skedaddle, skedoodle. Your dick is now a noodle.
But
Oh God!
there's another
What is
piece
this?
of this that
1999.
Hey,
Yes.
let Josh finish his thought, even though I was talking over him too.
Yeah, Daniel.
Never.
God. Creator. No, so there's another piece of this that I really love, and I'm glad you brought this up because Elaine is part of this sort of trio of initiates who challenge everything that is, quote, impossible or
Wheel
possible
of Time
with the White
Challenge
Tower,
the status
right?
quo.
They do. They someone says it's impossible to do that, and Nynaeve's like, listen,
Listen,
okay,
bitch.
I'm gonna do it. So
Don't
stop
believe me,
telling
just
me I can't do it. And Elaine's like, I bet I could make it to Rangreal. And they're all like, okay, Elaine. And then she does it, and they're like, oh shit.
Oh,
Like, that's pretty cool. Hey, can you show me how you did that? And Elaine's like, yes, I can.
and she's like,
You know, they're all initially-
Join my
now
novice
you want
class,
to go ahead and
bitch.
They're all initially like, show me because I don't believe you actually know how to do this. And then they're like,
Right. Well, and that
Oh,
was
shit.
that was when Nynaeve healed Logain. They didn't believe her. They were like, come on, seriously. And then they marched her in almost as if she was on trial in front of the hall of the sitters. And they were like, oh, so you healed Logain? Did you do that? Well, here's Swan. Why don't you heal her too? And then she heals her, and they're all like,
Oh fuck!
oh my God. Wait. Oh my, wait, whoa. Hey, do her now.
No, do me.
Get Leanna over there. Do Leanna now. This is cool. Hey, get all the yellows in here. They want to see this.
But
No, so Elaine making Terangreal is huge. It's huge.
It's huge.
And a lot of smart people know that you can't make Terangreal. Okay?
The best people.
Believe me,
the
I know.
smartest people.
The best people.
this has been
So
lost
she
for
makes
thousands
Terangreal,
and thousands of years. How did you do it? I was bored and I thought I could. I just kept trying.
Right?
Well, you
It's so-
shouldn't
and
do
it's-
that. We've taught you don't do that because you could
Hey, you
accidentally
want
do
me to
something to kill
heal
yourself.
fucking Swan or not?
See, that's the
Right.
thing. That their whole thing, whenever they see anybody trying to figure out how something works or do anything, they just say don't because people have done this and died. And then they
Yeah.
always look at me like,
There's a
"Who?"
lot of fear
And they're
in
like,
White
well,
Tower.
we don't know, but we know people have died. And then they're like, well, I'm
Who
willing
died?
to take
Who
the
did
risk
it?
because I'm just that confident that I can do what they failed at. And then they do it, and everybody's like, we told you not to do that. But thank God you did that. Now show us how to do it because we're too scared to do it on our own.
Yeah.
Well, and of course,
Well, and
I
you
will
know-
throw out there, while I am one of those people who actually thinks that innovation does require some kind of sacrifice and whatnot, and that it's not just a, if you never push the envelope, if you never do anything new, then of course you're never going to get anything done because that's how
Right.
life works.
Right.
But at the same time, I
Right.
do also see their point because all of the Aes Sedai kind of make a good point in terms of the fact that it's like, all right, but what are the possible scenarios for fucking this up? And the answer is
Right.
you could burn yourself out forever from the power, which is basically
it's
a death
true.
sentence.
Yeah.
Or
And-
you could
and-
kill yourself. So, like, on one hand, I absolutely am always like, yeah, fucking stick it to him, Nynaeve, because you know what you're doing. But then also, on the other hand, I'm always like, oh, but they're also just kind of looking out for you, so maybe don't stick it to them so hard.
Well, it's one of those. It's fortune favors the brave, right? That's 100% what it is. Fortune favors the brave. And at this point in time, the Aes Sedai are fewer in numbers than they have ever been.
They are
And
pathetic
they're losing
weaklings.
numbers. It's fewer and fewer and fewer. And so as they look at where they've come from, and a really great point that's been brought up in the Discord here is that making Tirangrial was possible
Yes.
prior to this. Healing, stilling, and gentling, not possible prior to when Nynaeve did it. Nobody knew how to do it prior to Nynaeve.
Or at least no one living knows that it was possible.
Precisely.
Yes. And that effectively means that it is an unknown.
Effectively, yes. And so what you have is you've got a society of Aes Sedai who are looking at dwindling numbers, weakening channeling abilities, and they're seeing every single person as a precious asset. And their own fear of losing that asset has started to stint their abilities and their capabilities and their functionality and efficiency in the world around them. And I really think Robert Jordan did an amazing job of sort of making this a commentary on, if you're too afraid to lose, you'll never win.
Basically.
Because if Nynaeve was too afraid to figure that out, Logain never would have been healed. And who would have broken the seals at the last battle? Maybe somebody else would have.
Mazrin.
Maybe. But again, there's that what Andrew was saying about Mazrin. But that's what Andrew was just saying about sort of a Taviran by proxy. That had to happen. Those things needed to be discovered. Elaine needed to rediscover the capability to make Tirangrial. Otherwise, they would have lost the last battle. And so Robert Jordan does a really great job of showing that, caution is necessary.
Yes.
Like, if you don't know what you're doing, yes, there are dire consequences. However, sometimes you've got to knuckle in, you got to bite your lip, and you just got to go for it. Damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, and you got to figure this out. Because if you don't, the consequences for not doing it could be greater down the road.
Well,
as our dear friend Smack
folks,
said, you got to risk it to get the biscuit.
Yes, well, and actually
right.
That is one of my favorite things in this series. And I will admit that, like, Robert Jordan is certainly not alone in this. It is a very common trope because it's also historically accurate in a lot of ways, is that, yes, there are times for caution. There are absolutely times where it is better to go slowly and make sure that what you are doing is actually documented, and make sure that everything that you're actually doing is safe, and that you are not going to go ahead and go through those incredibly negative side effects or whatever it is that is the risk here. Because it is so dangerous to go ahead and just do that. There are other times, like when you're gearing up to go ahead and face the last battle, to just be like, hey, fuck it. If I go ahead and get burned out of the power, that's going to really suck. But you know what's going to suck worse? Everyone dying to shadow spawn. Maybe we just goddamn do this. And again, like, not to necessarily bring this back into, like, reality, but it is also one of those reasons that right now we're having kind of the opposite problem of this, like, COVID-19 thing, especially because we're standing here and there are certain people, and I won't name them, who are standing there being like, no, we need to risk it. We need to go ahead and open the economy and do all of these things to make sure that we're not screwing ourselves for the future, because we have to think about the future. And wouldn't it be awful if we're just all homeless and our economy completely crashes and whatnot? And you're like, yeah, but there's also something worse than that. And that's a million people dying. So maybe fucking don't.
It's a tricky place to be. It really is. And it's one of those things, where they say the founding fathers of the United States were traitors to the crown.
They were.
And if they had lost the Revolutionary War, we would remember them to this day as traitors to the crown.
Yep.
Not as the founding fathers of the free nation of the United States of America.
Correct.
But
So,
speaking
You know,
of tricky
to
situations,
the victor go the spoils.
Also true.
but speaking of tricky situations, Elaine finds herself partially responsible for one and deeply involved in one, because all this time, Elaine and Nynaeve have been using that fancy, twisted with no end and no beginning stone ring ter'angreal to enter Teleron Riyadh to talk with
It's a
Egwene.
Mobius.
Yeah,
It's a Mobius strip.
It's exactly what
A
it is.
Mobius strip?
So it also it has no beginning or ending, but also enables time travel, apparently, according to Endgame. But while they're doing that, they're also trying to look for information on the Black Aja and the Forsaken, and Teleron Riyadh. And they meet a certain fantastical, absolutely lovely, perhaps among definitely my top 5 favorite female characters in the series, who breaks her own rules, the own rules that govern her existence in Teleron Riyadh, and interferes to help Nynaeve and Elaine, and that is, of course, Birgitte Silverbow, the hero of legend. And she acts
Never heard of her.
Yeah. Birgitte Silverbow.
Who's that?
Nope, never heard of it. Nope.
She's
Who
got
that? All these bugs. No,
sorry,
no idea.
New Life Who Dis.
But so she acts in a way that saves Nynaeve's life from Mogideon in Teleron Riyadh. And this is part of what steals Nynaeve's motive and desire and burning passion to defeat Mogideon. Because even during this, like, she acknowledges that her life was saved, but she also is surprised to find out how much of a decent fight she put up against him, Forsaken, because she thought that she would just be immediately wiped off the face of the earth, because that's how all the stories say. But in retaliation, Mogideon rips Birgitte out of Teleron Riyadh and sends her into the world as we know it to die.
I thought we already covered that.
No, this is when that happens.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when this happens.
Snap.
And so Elaine sees that Birgitte is dying, sees what's happening, doesn't want her to die, because of course she does feel responsible in part for what happened to Birgitte, and feels like she owes her some help for helping them. And the only thing she can think of is the only thing she can think of is the Warder Bond, and she kind of goes with this: either it's going to help her stay alive and keep her alive, or it's going to kill us both. Yeah. And she does it,
Exactly.
and again, throwing caution to the wind, it has the effect that she was hoping to, and it actually saves Birgitte's life. And Birgitte sees that as owing
the caution of the mountain. Can you throw all of your caution to the wind?
Oh,
so.
my God.
And Birgitte is instantly super thankful. She's recovering for a while. She winds up performing in Val and Lucas Circus as well. I
by throwing or by shooting arrows at Nynaeve.
Yeah. Which Nynaeve, she feels guilty too, and she's like, I'll do it because, it's my fault that you are here, even.
Right.
And Birgitte's like, you're stupid. It was a Forsaken. They do whatever. But if you're gonna be this little bitch, then fuck it.
I'll shoot arrows at you.
Because Birgitte is that chick at work that's one of the bros that goes to the strip club with you and goes out drinking with you, and one of the bro female workers.
And she always goes after the most unattractive men.
Which all of us should take as a note that there is always hope that somebody that loves ugly men will be spun out for each of us.
You guys,
dude, I'm waiting for my Birgitte Silverbow.
Same here. I thought I had one, but
dude, as Geidel Kane, as the ugliest motherfucker in the story, I have been patiently waiting for Birgitte to be re-spun out.
Well, she was already spun out, apparently.
Don't you say that?
Geidel Kane.
Don't you say that?
Out a year or two after, and you haven't met her yet.
Well, okay, yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. that was what I meant.
But
so they actually
noted,
have.
It's noted that. Sorry, go ahead, Josh. I don't want to interrupt your train of thought.
No, I was just going to say the whole battle where she gets ripped out of Teleron.
What?
Go ahead. You go ahead. My thought was halfway formed, and I was starting to go. Out
So
of it.
my thing is, we get, so far in the series, we're always told, and we only see bonds between a female Aes Sedai and a male warder. So when this happens, we get to see kind of what happens whenever a female Chandler, obviously not Aes Sedai, Elaine is only ranked at accepted, though being as strong or stronger than most Aes Sedai already. We get to see what happens whenever somebody that can channel, a female Chandler, bonds another woman. And it's shown that it's not necessarily the same. Their emotional states are tightly linked and they cannot be shielded completely. You can call this like a hallmark to the whole, like, if two women live in the same household long enough, their menstrual cycles will synchronize for
Dude,
some
that is one of
biological
my
reason.
favorite fucking lines in the books, is when Robert Jordan brings that up and you're like, bro, that makes so much sense, but I did not expect you to say that out loud. Like, what?
Yeah. Why would you say something so brave yet so right?
Brave yet controversial.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's the meme, but I couldn't think controversial because it's just right.
Oh boy.
It's fine, Jack. Don't worry. You're still here, and to be honest, you're not that far behind as far as the topic of the episode. For those
True.
who don't know, like I've said many a times so far since we started the live kind of recording, where you can come and listen to us live as we're recording.
Listen to us live.
Yeah,
that sounds like a plug.
Yes, you can. For the duration of the coronavirus pandemic, anybody who is a part of our Discord can come and listen to us record our episodes live. Once the pandemic is under control, life is returning to normal, it will return to a Patreon only benefit at the dedicated tier, and above. But in the meantime, if you're like, I don't want to pay money, or I don't want to give money, or I don't have money to, whatever it is, definitely feel free to come in and listen. We enjoy it, and so far, everybody that's listened has called us out on the fact that with this going on, we cannot stay on track. We can't. It's impossible. It's not because we're bad. It's because you guys are just so good.
That's true.
And the taint kind of does this like it does. Like we see Deshiva. We're always kind of aloof and looking around, and Discord catches our attention and brings us back, and we're like, hey, let's talk about that.
Who's Deshiva?
I will murder you in your sleep.
Dude, I literally thought about that for a second. I was like, wait, is he for real? Oh, all right, you son of a bitch.
All right. We haven't gotten to the point where Brigitte starts to forget all of her past lives and stuff from Teleron Real, right? It's too early for you to start losing your memories too.
Exactly.
It's okay. As Brigitte loses memory of her lives, Matt remembers more of his. So it's a trade-off.
That's true.
She bonds Brigitte, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Val and Luca, we have an archer who never misses.
And her name is Brigitte Silverbow. And he's like, are you kidding me?
He's like, okay, seriously.
Doesn't he say he's going to like sell her as like the modern Brigitte Silverbow, and they're all just kind of like look at each other?
Yeah, they do. They all kind of.
I see what you did there.
That's clever, Valen. Definitely clever.
That's really dumb, though. Come on, Valen.
Yeah, no one will believe that.
Right. So then they go through Luca's traveling show. They get to the city where, and I can't remember the name of the city, but it's where the prophet is.
Oh, yeah. Massima. He is not in Abu Dar.
They don't go to Abu Dar. They go with Val and Luca to another city, and they try.
Incorrect. That is later. This is before they've used the Ball of the Winds.
Yeah,
I know.
And they go to Saladar before they go to Abu Dar.
Correct.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. They're in Val and Luca's circus.
Uh-huh.
They stop at a city, and in this city, there's a
Ladies
whole
look pretty.
bunch of
guys tell
traveling
jokes so they can seem
circuses.
witty.
And Massima's there, and then
because this is where they meet up with
Uno, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And that's when.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is before they get to Saladar. You're right.
And then Uno's like,
"Is this still
I can't not swear?" And she's like, "Okay, swear every third word, and
every
like,
second sentence."
Yeah, yeah. And he like counts out as he
It's in
talks to her.
Samara
Samara, thank you.
because they have to. Val and Luca has to quickly take leave because the Children of the Light and the forces of Hasima start fighting it out.
Yep.
Well, there's riot.
Well,
Whatever
it's
you want to call
because Galad. It's because Galad is
Galad's
there,
a
and
piece
Nynaeve
of
has asked
shit.
Galad. She's asked Galad to secure a ship for them,
Mhm.
and she's also asked Masema to secure a ship for
They
them.
didn't ask Galad
And
for
they find-
shit. Galad was just like, "I'm gonna,
Lies.
I have to do this."
Lies. She
No,
totally
Nynaeve
does
did.
ask him.
Nynaeve totally does, and that's what starts the right.
Oh
Because
yeah,
Galad
that's right.
I mean, he
promises
takes
that
it upon
he'll-
himself
that he'll
to offer her
never
aid.
disrupt.
And then she goes, all right, fine, butthole. If you want to give aid, why don't you do this? And he's like, done.
Exactly.
And she's
Yeah,
like, all right,
okay,
fine,
yeah, you're
Galad,
right.
shut up.
I guess for me, it was just the way Galad was just like, "No, you have to let me help you," and I'm like,
You must.
"Bruh, no means no. Back the fuck off, Sean Connery, James Bond."
Whoa.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong, I love Sean Connery,
Accurate
James
as
Bond. It's just a
fuck.
popular joke. It's just a
a
popular
good-
joke.
Why don't you get me something to wear? Dude holds up a pair of sandals. Dude, straight baller.
Dude.
Although he was a little.
Oh, he was 100% rapey.
It would have
Did you
been.
see-
It would have
Did you
been
see the
super
epic rap
rapey
battle of history?
had all the women not loved him and loved it.
That's well.
You're not my type.
Don't get me
What?
wrong.
Smart? Single.
Don't
Don't get me wrong. The interaction, had it been like if that was how he treated everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the very flimsy, very frail, very I'm not even gonna make
It
an
was-
argument of he knew who he was
it was
talking to and
definitely
they accepted
flirty,
it. But
like, yeah,
He
and
was-
it was a different time back then, guys. It was
Yeah.
a different time. There was a different.
that was
social
back
standard
whenever the line of suave, the scope that covered suave flirtation was very broad, and now it's
Yes.
very narrow,
Much broader
surrounded by a
stroke.
bunch of douche.
Correct.
So they are in the circus. They go to
Samara.
this place. At this point in time, Nynaeve has remembered the city that the rebel Aes Sedai are meeting in, which is Salidar.
Yeah.
So they want to go. They want to get a ship. They want to go back upriver.
That's Caesar salad.
And Caesar Salidar. And there's a big battle. Everybody's blah blah blah. They get onto
It
a ship.
destroys the entire
Is
city
it,
because they
is it a
go.
Windfinder ship?
I can't. It's on
No,
the
it's
river.
not a Windfinder.
It's on the river Eldar.
Yeah. And it's just a regular trader ship because they have to like convince him and they have to threaten him.
Yeah,
not.
and then I think
They-
because
they
while
just
they're
think
doing
it's
that is when the
happening.
riots break out, and then it's kind of like
Yeah.
shit going crazy. How much more convincing do you need?
But the cool thing is they do find some other refugees on the ship, and they basically tell the captain, "You're going to take." And Elaine uses her queenliness to order the captain basically to let some of these refugees on. They take as many as they can. They get to Salidar. It's super awesome.
They make sure they
This
have
is
their own
where-
cabin, though. Of course,
Yeah. Yes, they take the captain.
save these refugees, but keep them the fuck out of my cabin.
But we would like the biggest rooms you have. Good sir.
Don't they actually take the captain's quarters?
They do.
Yeah.
Because
They do.
I think they kind
then
of
he
like at
takes
some
the
point they
space
dropped
and
the Aes
shit.
Sedai bomb on him. I think.
They imply it. They strongly imply it.
Well, I think they're no, because
And-
at this point they're already wearing when they're not in the circus and around the Children of Light. They generally will wear the ring, the serpent ring. I think.
They've been hiding them. Nynaeve's been wearing hers on the cord next to Lan's ring, and Elaine has hers in a pouch sewn inside her dress. And they're kind of being low key about it, but they imply it to the captain, which kind of saves their bacon later, because claiming your Aes Sedai between your
Basically,
Yeah.
impersonating an officer
claiming Aes Sedai
is against the law.
or you're actually Aes Sedai. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys right now. My eyes flicked over to the Discord and I saw Mr. Jacko Shadows his comment between her breasts.
No,
And
no,
so
he
what I'm
changed
saying
it. It changed it. The R wasn't there. It was between her beast,
Beast.
which is even more hilarious.
Gonna win. But so what's happening is my head was talking about before your Aes Sedai, and my eyes see between her breasts. So yeah.
Even in word
If you're
form,
impersonating
we're
Aes
still
Sedai
distracted by
before
breast.
you're Aes Sedai, breasts can be beasts. That is true. That is a factual statement. But they get to Saladar, and what do they find? Egwene has been raised Amyrlin's seat.
Well, they're there when it happened because they're there like a day or two before it happens.
Oh, that's right.
Because Egwene drops it, they're like, they're gonna make me Amyrlin, and Nynaeva's like, you're kidding, right? And Egwene's like, no.
No.
And then her and Elena are like, oh shit.
Oh, well, that changes things significantly. But it turns out pretty good for them so far. And it's when they get to Saladar, another really big thing happens. They end up in a situation where they're against Maggedion again,
Mhm.
and they're having these battles, and they're meeting up with people in Tel'aran'rhiod. That's how Elaine is kind of validated herself. She's like, yes, I know how to do the dream
Just
Ter'angreal.
implanting
At this
thoughts in
point in time-
everybody's mind and their dreams. Inception.
Yeah. So Egwene raises them to be Aes. I know I'm glossing over a lot here, but I'm trying to focus on the Elaine centric parts.
Yeah.
Elaine is raised to Aes Sedai, raised to the Shawl, and
Along with
one of the
the
first
brothers.
Though
things she
not
does-
actually. She's one of 4.
By-
I was
by-
going to say, what are you, an Elida sympathizer? She is definitely Aes Sedai.
She is Aes Sedai, bro. She was raised by decree of the Amyrlin
Yes,
seat,
but
the
she has not
rightfully
held the oath rod
raised
or gone through the
Amyrlin seat.
tests. So
Okay, you know
again,
what?
I
Maybe
am
she's
saying
Aes
that she
Sedai
is
light.
officially Aes Sedai, but she's also still got some shit to do. Okay.
Maybe she doesn't want to cut her lifespan in half.
Hey, Andrew, no one gives a
Heyo.
fuck. You pick up
I
that
mean-
oath rod.
You're not.
I mean, by the end, yeah, even Egwene doesn't
So-
give a fuck, but she's a dick,
So they
selfish, and brat throughout the
she-
entire series. But anyway, sorry, we're talking about Elaine. Go
First-
ahead, Josh.
Wow.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I love you so much.
Rude
for joining
and
us.
accurate.
Black Power. So Elaine sets off as Aes Sedai to study the Ter'angreal, and she straight up uses all of her Aes Sedai presence, position, status, blah 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 blah, and she's like, "Give me that fucking Ter'angreal so I can study it." And they make this strange arrangement where she can
Whoa,
get
whoa,
it
whoa,
for a
whoa,
couple
whoa,
hours
whoa,
out
whoa,
of the
whoa, whoa.
day.
Well, take a step back.
I don't take
No.
steps back.
You
We're
have
not
missed.
glossing over.
No, you
Abu
have
Dar, are we?
missed a complete part. Matrim Cawthon shows up with the Band of the Red Hand in Saladar,
I said I was trying to
and
do more.
then they
Elaine
go
stuff.
ahead and travel
I mean,
to
it
Abu
does
Dar.
involve Elaine because
But you're
And
missing a
that
big
on the
part.
journey to Abu Dar with Matt, who has decided to accompany them because he has made a promise to Rand that he will bring them back like a chivalrous
Oh, not them.
douchebag.
not them.
Sorry.
Elaine.
Elaine.
He made the promise. Rand made him
Specifically
promise
Elaine,
that he
you're
will
right.
bring Elaine to Camelin to claim her throne.
Correct.
Because this
Sorry,
is still where
but-
Rand's like, "I'm going to give you your throne." This is
And she's
before Elaine
like,
looked at him and says, "You're going to give me
And
what?"
Elaine's like, listen here.
And I think even Matt
Listen
tells her
here,
that.
you
Matt's
little
like,
shit.
I think even Matt looks at her in this thing, and he's like, "Rand intends to give you the Lion
And
throne."
she's like, give me
and Elaine's
what?
like, "How are you going to give me my birthright?"
Yeah. Anyway, so
but
it is
the
on
part
the
that I'm trying to
road
focus on-
from Saladar to Abu Dar that she then confronts Matt about going ahead and studying the fox head medallion that he
Foxhead,
wears
yes.
between his breasts.
That's between his moobs.
Those glorious
that's not the
man
part that I was-
pecs of luck. That's where he stores all of his luck in his moobs.
Just the left one, though, not the right one.
Just
But
the
that's,
left one.
but
They're
that's
kinda
not where I was
lopsided.
going with that. She makes a study of
All
the
good ones are.
Ter'angreal, and she's doing some stuff, right? And they're doing some stuff in Tel'aran'rhiod, and they run into Moghedien again because this is a very important piece of the story that takes place in Salidar, where they realize, oh shit, Moghedien is in disguise in Saladar.
Yes, all of this happens before she studies that, because they have not left
Thank
for Abu
you.
Dar yet.
Thank you. Thank
But you were talking about her studying the medallion. Don't thank you,
no,
me.
I said the ring Terangrial. I said the ring
Wait,
Terangrial.
I don't think Moghedien wasn't ever in disguise in Saladar.
Yes, she was. She absolutely
Yes, she
was.
was.
She was one of the refugees,
She was one of the refugees.
that they
Was
took
she?
on from Samara. And that
Yes.
is why in Saladar, they actually have her on an idom that
You're right, because she was
Elaine
Maragon.
has made.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Marrigan,
I was
yes.
thinking of
When they
Familia,
battle-
but yeah, that's right.
when they
She
battle
was
in-
Maragon.
Yeah, when they battle in Teleron Riyadh, Moghedien turns Birgitta into
baby.
a child, and Nynaeve is simpering and whining and crying and on her knees, and Moghedien's like, haha, I'm the baddest bitch, I got this. And then when Nynaeve crawls up to her, she pictures an idom around her neck and in her collar, and she's like, drink this potion, because if you drink this potion here, I know you're still going to be asleep, and guess what, I know that you're in Saladar.
Mhm.
And it was Elaine's studying of the different Terangrial that allowed her to recreate
An
what she
idom
thought
without a
may be
leash.
an idom. And she creates that, and they were able to put the quote necklace on Moghedien
On Marrigan.
while she was still on Marrigan.
Yes.
That's right. While she was still asleep, and they began to pump her for information, and it was glorious.
Yes, and they get so much clout in Saladar
So much.
because everybody's like, "How do you know these things?" And they're like, "Psh, an Aes
It
Sedai
just
never
seems
reveals her
right.
secrets."
Right. So then they do this. They pump Moghedien for information. Egwene
This is
shows
how they
up.
discovered traveling again, I believe, right?
No,
No, Egwene
Or
has
no,
already
oh, that's
kind
right.
of puzzled it out
yes,
a little bit.
she
and
figures it
even
out in
trying to-
Teleran Riyadh, and then can recreate that, if you will, outside of Teleran Riyadh. After she uses it to come back to Saladar from Kyrian.
She uses a method that is similar.
Yes,
She
she uses
moves
Teleran
into
Riyadh
Teleran Riyadh,
and Bella.
travels in the flesh in Teleran Riyadh to Saladar, and then she's like, I'm pretty sure I got this figured out.
Correct.
And then when they hand the bracelet over to Egwene and say, hey, by the way, this is Moghedien,
Oh yeah.
Egwene puts the fear of the creator in her and says, now Moghedien,
So
you're gonna show me how
basically,
to do
I
travel.
already know how to do this. So if you lie to me, I will know. But you're going to fill in
Exactly.
the mild blanks that I have in figuring out how to make gateways. And Moghedien's like, okay.
And then
Remember what I said about us not being able to stay on track when it comes to Discord? This is a good example because you guys can't see it, and if you want to see it, you should definitely be here for the live recordings so we can understand you not being right now.
okay.
I knew the exact moment you saw what was posted.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too good.
Yep. Jack of the Shadows,
this
you broke
point-
Josh. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Wait, I don't remember the moment that Moghedien gets fed to a tiger.
We're professionals here.
Are
Thank
we?
you very much. No, I made that up. That was a lie.
Good.
Um,
Legal
so
purposes, we
after
must say we
that-
are not.
At some point in time, this is a big part of the battle in Teleron Riyadh. They find a cache of Terangrial in Abu Dar,
Correct.
and at some point in time, they decide that this cache is super important. It's kind of a tangent. It's not exactly what they're focused on, but
Well, they're actually
it's
really
something
frustrated
people
with it because they're like, give us something that can help. And then it's like, Cache of Terangrial in Abu Dar. And they're like, no, something that can help. And it's like cache of
because
like
they learned from
Terran
Egwene
and Abu Dar. And they're
It's
like,
the cache
you
of Terran
motherfucker, show us what can help. And it's like cache of Terran Grial.
They learned from Egwene that you can take and you can find things and places and people and stuff in Teleron Riyadh using need, but it only works once.
It was actually the wise ones that taught Nynaeve that when they were in
Did they?
Tarabon.
Did they
And
teach
they were
her?
looking
Okay.
for
They teach 90.
the thing that could
Okay.
harm. They were looking for the thing that could harm Rand, and that's actually the first time that Nynaeve.
Oh
squared
yeah,
off
that's right. Because that's how she finds
And that's what
the
sends
male
them
Adam.
to Tanchico.
right.
That's where they
Yeah,
first fight Mo
not Tarabon.
Dick Yawn.
So they've got this. They've got the destination of Ebudar. They know there's a cache there. This is actually them looking for the cache of Terran-Grial. Now we've got, of course, Matt shows up, and Egwene is figuring out what to do with Matt while keeping the band. Blah 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 blah. So they devise this plan that 2 Aes Sedai, Nynaeve and Elaine, and Matt should all go to Ebudar together.
And our favorite
And
character,
kind of sucker Matt into this.
or at least one of my favorite characters, goes with them.
Expound on that,
Batman?
Mr. D.
No. The fat horseman who literally
Julian.
he's not Julian.
Oh no! Chell Vannon.
Yeah, Chell Vannon. Who literally every single time he is introduced is, and Matt thought to himself, how the fuck can he sit on a horse? Because he's so fucking fat.
Do you know how I? So another
And
tangent
yet
here.
he's the best horse
I
thief in the
love-
tour or in the known world. And then the next book
love-
it happens, and Matt thought to himself, how could he be such a good horse thief when he sits on
He's
his
like
saddle like a
Poe.
bag of suet?
He's
He
like
was- he
Poe
was
from
so
Kung Fu
right.
Panda.
on his feet for having such girth.
I'm
No,
saying
I
he's
love
Poe from
the
Kung
story.
Fu Panda. How did you get up? You were 15 feet in the air doing a perfect split? I don't know. I just did it. One of the fucking cookie.
Don't tell monkey. But I love the story of how Chell Vannon was.
Oh, it's
Recruited.
so good. But
was
it's
like,
not about
"Okay,
him, it's about
Captain."
Elaine.
Give us your best horse thieves, and they're like, okay, cool. They bring 4, and he's like, okay,
Cool.
tell
bye.
me the guys you know that are the best at this, and they're like, there's a couple guys, and they're like, okay, tell me the guys. You know, he brings the next group in. It's like 4 or 5 groups of these guys that are getting better and better and better at this because they've never been caught, and they all, at the end of it,
Every single one of
point
them
on
goes,
that.
hey,
they go,
there's one
"Yeah, this
guy
guy's
that
a
you
legend."
want. We actually have only heard of Chell Vannon in whispers.
in legend. We're not even sure he actually exists. Chell Vannon.
And then he
Well,
goes,
anyways,
he
we
gets
have
brought
so much of
before
Elaine to
them,
still
and
get
of
there.
course Chell Vannon and Matt's like, "You're shitting me, right? This guy."
Right.
I'm gonna try to rein us all in because there's so much of Elaine to still get through.
There is.
It's okay.
There-
We'll
you're right.
we'll just have to do a part 3.
But that delays us from getting to men, and I want to cuss a lot of people
We
out.
want to get to men. We want to get to
We'll
men.
get there.
This is Rand's
That's
trio of
I will
lovers
be. I
series.
am being selfish in that.
Stop it.
I want to get to men, so I can
Stop
tell
it.
a lot of people to go fuck themselves.
Stop
To
it.
boldly
So
tell
get
people to
help.
go
Get
fuck
to
themselves
Epidar.
when no one else will.
Hey, stop it.
They
Get
get to
help.
Ebudar in Nynaeve.
I did.
Michael
They said they couldn't
Jordan
help me.
has joined us. Stop. Get help. They get to Ibadar. It becomes clear very quickly to Elaine and Nynaeve that the other 2 Aes Sedai that accompany them are basically there to babysit them and keep
Adelaus
them out
and
of
Van
trouble.
Deen.
And they find 2 other Aes Sedai from the tower, Elida, quote unquote, Elida Aes Sedai, who are also there. They're being nice to Tylan. And Elaine and Nynaeve make very quick friends with Tylan because Tylan at one point in time is like,
Hey, be honest
let's
with
do
me.
this. Be honest with me for 5 seconds. If you can be honest with me and Nynaeve just goes nuts. And she's like, listen here, I don't have time to play your stupid games.
And
You
Elaine
stupid,
goes, hey,
airheaded
how about you shut
queen."
the fuck up?
But then Tylan's like, you guys are awesome. I
Man,
love
fuck
you.
Thailand.
I mean, yes.
Don't give me that's not what this one's about. We could go
It's
off
not
on
about
that.
Thailand, but
That's not
anytime
what
somebody
this one's
says
about.
Thailand, man, fuck Thailand. Fuck her.
Yeah, no,
fuck her
I-
palace. Fuck everything
I
about
agree.
Thailand.
Fuck
Except
you.
for her son.
Fuck your
Except for her
cow.
son.
Write this down, Cricket.
Her son is dope.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
So Elaine and Nynaeve are using the Mask of Mirrors to slip past Matt to have free reign of the city. It is a difficult task for them because Ebudar is basically just chaos. They know that they're looking in the Rahad, which the Rahad is like
The worst part of town.
the red light district. I mean, it's your ghetto. It's the ghetto of Ebudar. They search for Ebudar. They finally realize they finally have to like Avienda's with them, and Avienda looks at Elaine, and at this point in time, they're trying to act like first sisters. And Avienda says, "Wait a minute, Matt saved your ass at the Stone of Tyr,
And you've
and she was
never
like, "Oh,
thanked him."
yeah." And Avienda's like, "From the Forsaken and Black Aja?" And Elaine's like, "Yeah." And Avienda goes, "Okay, Elaine, you are kind of being a bitch. You have some serious toe right now." And Elaine's like,
Elaine, you got some splaining to do.
so Elaine decides, and they all kind of sit down and they have this sort of meeting where they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, Matt is Taverin and the luckiest bastard we've ever met. If we recruit him, maybe his Taverin nature will help us find this cache of Terangrial." At the same time, they have a run-in with an innkeeper who is scolding them for pretending to be Aes Sedai. She takes them to the...
It's the innkeeper that Matt is living under. And it's when they go to apologize to him. It's hilarious.
Yes.
And she's like, "You
So
light skirts going and bothering Lord Matt. How about you go and stop pretending to be Aes Sedai?"
And she's like, "Okay, listen here, bitch." And then this lady's like, "Oh no, you listen here, bitch." So she takes them. She's like, "Look, I don't know why I'm going to help you guys out, but I'm going to help you guys out." She takes them to the kin, but she stops at every single inn on the way. Like, she's like going out of her way to show these girls off and embarrass the hell out of them so that they can be run out of town, basically, for, quote, pretending to be Aes Sedai. Introduces them to the kin. And the kin's and Nynaeve is like, "Okay, let's just be nice. Let's be nice. Let's play ball. Let's play ball. Show us where this cache of Terangrial is." And the kin are like, "Okay, listen here, you little crazies. No, that's not how this is happening.
You're going to get out of Ebudar.
There's
and
a
go
big
to the
fa-
farm.
Oh yeah, that's right. They give them the thing. They're like, be out by morning, or we're sending your descriptions out to everybody because we tried to help you and you don't want help. Get the hell out. GTFO, STFU." So they get out and they go back, and Matt has been watching this place because he's noticing weird women coming in and out. He
Fucking
notices the
weird
pattern,
women.
and of course, Taverin Natchez. And he starts following someone after Elaine and Nynaeve leave, because then the kin have this meeting of, okay, we got to check on that special building, wink, wink. They send someone to go check on the building. Matt's like, "Oh yeah, I got this. I found it, guys." He's drunk as hell with Birgitta, and Elaine has finally had enough. They actually try and put her on trial. The other Aes Sedai, they sit her down, and I can't remember what it was for precisely, but they have like a trio of Aes Sedai sitting in front of her, and they try and put her on trial, blah, blah, blah. And this is the first time that we really see Queen Elaine sort of emerge. Because at some point in time, she comes out of this, she's the one, quote, on trial unofficially, and she's had enough of their bullshit. And she stands up, and it's a hurricane. She's like, "I am sick of you petty bitches and your petty squabbles. Listen to me now. I am Queen Elaine Trakand, or I am the Daughter-Heir Elaine Trakand, Aes Sedai of the Green Aja. You will acknowledge my authority, and we're going to go over and get the Bowl of the Winds."
God
because
damn it,
I found
Aes Sedai, you will respect my authority.
So they're all like, oh shit. And then who was it? Morella is the one who was like leading this sort of attack / charge against Elaine. And she's like thoroughly
Marililla.
put down. Marililla. I knew it was a name like that. This sounds
Yeah, this is one of those moments where you're like, why did you give so many Aes Sedai S names, Robert? Also, why do you have a Tylin and a one of the Aes Sedai's names is like Tanlin or something. I don't even fucking remember. But there's all so alike because there's a Marililla and there's a Morel. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Why would you do this? Anyway.
So yeah, so Elaine takes charge. She's like, no, I'm done with you guys. We're going to go over right now. We're going to talk to the kin. And they're all like, oh, that's what they put her on trial for almost exposing the kin.
Correct.
Because she finds the kin and they're like, this is an Aes Sedai secret.
And she's like, an Aes Sedai secret? I'm Aes Sedai now, bitch. How about you tell me the things I need to know?
So she is...
That's one of the fun things. The kin don't know that the Aes Sedai actually know about them and allow them to exist.
Right.
They're like,
the
we've been so
knows.
good about being so secret. And the Aes Sedai are like, you've been so good about being a secret. You're adorable.
Yeah, right.
And then they find out, like, the tower's like, of course we know about the kin. And the kin's like, you what?
We've actually been using you, kin. Like,
once again, the tower thinks they know about the kin.
Well,
they know the kin exists.
Yes.
And that's about it.
They know enough as Aes Sedai to make it sound like they know everything, which is what all Aes Sedai pretty much do.
And then Elaine says, every fucking Aes Sedai here, you're coming with me right now. Load up in the carriage. We're going to the kin. And it is such a short amount of time that Elaine shows up with all the Aes Sedai to the meeting that the kin are still having
about what to do about these two girls.
It's getting hot. These two girls are a problem. You know, we need to lay low. We need to follow the rules. We need to go out to the farm. We need to lay low. So just we're gonna do this. And then all of a sudden stomps in Elaine and Nynaeve and, you know, all the Aes Sedai that are there with them.
And oh my god, and it's Elaine's one of my favorite scenes because she walks in and she goes, hey, Marililla, tell them I'm fucking Aes Sedai. And she goes, she is Aes Sedai, and all the kin are like,
it's even better than that though, because the kin is like, oh, I'm so sorry, Aes Sedai. I'm so sorry, Aes Sedai. No, you know, we never would do that. We never would do that. And then Marililla's like, oh,
yeah, don't tell me. Tell her.
Don't talk to me. You'll have to talk to the leader of all the Aes Sedai here, which is Elaine Sedai over there. And everybody just, like, you know, the genie from Aladdin when his jaw just...
This is the first time we get to see Elaine just whip out big dick energy and flop it on the table.
She so does, too.
She literally looks at me, you better duck, because I'm about to turn left, and I don't want to smack you with my dick.
Well, and I fucking love, just in my head, what happens is, you know, they walk into the thing, and all of Elaine is standing on one side of the room, and all of the other Aes Sedai are standing on the other side of the room. They're looking a little chastened, but then of course all of the kin go to those Aes Sedai, and they're like, "Oh," and then the Marililla is just like, "You're gonna want to direct all your inquiries to the leader of the Aes Sedai, that girl over there." And all of them just like look at her for a second, their jaws drop, and then they slowly turn around.
They're
to Elaine, who's just standing there with her arms crossed under her breasts, being like, "Yeah, bitches."
She's one of those, like, how do you figure out who's following Elaine? Oh, just look for the mushroom stamp on their forehead from where she just flap.
And it's a double whammy too, right? Because Marililla just got an Elaine-sized smackdown.
Oh, it's true.
Like,
yeah.
The wounds are still raw. And then all of a sudden the kin are like, oh, Marililla, please don't. And Marilla's like,
no.
I got this open wound. Hey, I got an idea. I'm just going to rub some salt in it real quick. Oh, you're going to talk to Elaine. Boom. So Elaine's like,
never before has a room full of
First
people
off-
shit their pants so together and so like thoroughly.
they even talk about several members of the kin like
Almost
Didn't
passing
some of them
out.
faint? Yeah.
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 Some of them
And
were like
Elaine's like,
visibly
"Hey,
shaking.
seriously,
They're like literally
that
sitting
bitch
there
over there
like
just passed
they're
out.
like
Is someone
they
gonna help
switched
her,
on
or-
vibrate. They're just oh God, no, please shit. I
I-
fucked up.
I
I'm
rolled
sorry.
back their head. They're good, son. So yeah, so they collectively shit their pants, and it's great. It's one of the greatest Elaine scenes ever because Elaine, I love even how Robert Jordan describes how she takes control of that whole situation, and she even like internally she's got butterflies. She's like just squeeing. She's like, oh my god, all my years of
Squeeing.
training. to
That's
be
the
a
word of the
queen.
day, guys. Squeeze.
Squee.
Hashtag squee. And you have to say it like that too. If I swear to God, I swear to the creator, if you do not say it like that, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I swear to the
So-
creator that if you don't say it like that, he won't interfere and do anything
They
because he's
load
busy
up-
with other shit.
That's true.
You
They
know
load
what,
up,
Andrew?
they go
Why
to the
would you
kid.
say something so
Don't
controversial
you
yet? Brave?
fucking dare, you bastard.
So they go to the kin, and then Elaine's like, I really want this stash of Tyron Grial, but at the same time, I know that Egwene has said she wants every woman who can channel in the tower. So she's like, I got to handle business first. So she says, okay, kin, how many people do you have? And they're like, we got like 1,200. But don't worry, we're not going to do anything.
Her
And
jaw
it's like,
drops then.
yeah.
But
Because
what
the
comes
whole
next?
of the tower is like 300 or 400.
Yeah.
So the kin outstripe the tower.
So she pees.
threefold.
She pees in her pants a little. But what comes next?
What comes next
puts her
kills them, and then she
On
goes,
her ass.
she goes, okay, so I hate to ask, but I gotta know, how old are you? And the woman's like, I think the woman says she's like 400.
Oh, she's like, I don't even remember, but I'm pretty sure I've seen at least 400 winters. And Elaine's like, I'm sorry, what now?
And at that point in time, the jaw drops.
Yeah.
The jaw drops.
So they got
And
their
at that
revenge.
point,
They shocked the shit.
Collectively, the Tower Aes Sedai all shit themselves.
Yeah.
So now literally just
Quite a-
everyone in the
90% of
room
them
has
think
shitty
that she-
pants.
90% of them think that the woman is lying, trying to regain
Yes.
some sort of credibility from being so
They-
wrong about who is and isn't Aes Sedai. But
They
it's such an
recover from the
important thing for all the female, not just female channelers, honestly, for all channelers. Because it points to just how old, we know that handling the one power grants a degree of agelessness, which it's the only apt term or whatever. But like the thing, it begs that question: just how old can you be? And
Exactly.
suddenly, Cat Swain doesn't seem quite as impressive as she was, because Cat Swain is
it's right,
considered
that's right.
ancient by Aes Sedai standards, and she's taken the oath on the Oath Rock.
Longevity.
Yes, longevity is, but they always call it the Aes Sedai agelessness, which makes it even more, I don't want to say hilarious, but just wrong.
And the kin even have a verbiage for that too. Slowing, they call it.
Yeah, the slowing.
You age to a certain point and then
It just
you
stops.
start slowing.
Most people just say vampire and stab you in the heart with a stake.
Ha ha! Bleh. So Elaine says, okay, bye-bye. And now she's got all this out of the way, and now she's like, everybody's thoroughly shook. They shook AF. And she says, okay, now I need that cache of Tyron Grail that I know you have. And the kin are all like, no, don't. We would never use it. We would never use it. And then Elaine's like, boom, bitches. I knew you had it. She's like, take us there now. We need it.
Yeah, and that's when you
And
get
so they
Matt
go
bumbling in. I know where it's at, and Elaine is just like, "Yeah, we do too." And they're both
Yeah,
like,
they're like, yeah,
Matt's hiding the
appreciate
fact that he
that.
just figured it out. Elaine's hiding the fact that she just figured it out, and they're both off of honestly pure luck. I mean, Matt's luck is more obvious than Elaine's. Elaine's is pure luck based off of finding out what she found and finally getting control of a group and all that other. But they both try to present themselves as, "Hark, princess, I have completed your quest. I know the location of the object which you desire." And the princess is just like, "Yeah, bitch, I know. We're on our way there now. Why don't you come with us?
Okay, come on. So,
Matt's just
why
like,
don't you come with us?
fine, I'll go anyway because you'll probably get hurt, because you're you.
Exactly.
But
So they load up. They have a huge party going out to the Rahad to go to this cache, and when they get there, so they've got a bit of a problem because, and one of the things we haven't covered yet is that there were Black Sisters, Black Aja, in the city as well. And when they get there, they all load up, they all go into the building, and they're like, sweet, let's do this. And then the Black Aes Sedai show up and they're like, hey, thanks for pointing this place out to us. Now you can leave or we'll kill you. And the kin, it's their turn to shit their pants because now they've got Aes Sedai versus Aes Sedai. And up until this point, Aes Sedai is almost deified to the kin, right? It's don't look upon the face of God or you should be burned from the earth. And this is kind of how the kin view Aes Sedai out of necessity because they want to survive.
Don't open your eyes.
Exactly. Temple of Doom, babe. Or not Temple of Doom. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I was going to say, I was like, wait a second.
Woo! Yes! And so...
Does that just say my Dorito?
My Dorito.
Anyway,
you son of a bitch.
You got to do the full riff. I'm sorry. You can't stop halfway through that riff.
My Doritos.
And so they go in there and they have probably one of the best battles, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of really great battles.
Well, Elaine
Robert
gets her
Jordan
shit rocked.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful at writing
That
battles.
fucking golem just
one of
throws her across the room.
I mean, imagine how that feels to be Elaine. She's just riding this high. She's taking control of the Aes Sedai contingent in Abu Dar. Then she's taking control of the kin. Really she's calling the shots. She's got everybody under her thumb except for Matt because she feels like a bitch for honestly being a full-on bitch and laughing at him because he's been raped almost for as long as you can remember in this book. So she's like, that's funny. It's funny you make that joke. And he's like, no, I'm not joking. She's fucking raping me at knife point. And she's like,
oh, shit.
Oh, I'm a grade A asshole. I am so sorry. To the point she feels so bad that he's like, here, you can study the medallion. And she's like, you hold on to it.
No.
Maybe later. No.
She's like, you need this more than I do. You guys. She's actually really cool.
Does this
make
get here? Is this your safe medallion? You can keep that.
Which I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 times again. If you think there's any justification or acceptability to what happens to Matt by Thailand, you're fucked. And as far as I'm concerned, you can fuck right off the edge of the flat earth that doesn't exist. And that does extend to the same people that think that what Robin does with Morghese is fine and all. It's all equal.
Also, as a headcanon, white cloaks are flat earthers.
Yeah. But so she goes from being literally on this power high horse, probably the most powerful that Elaine has ever felt in her life. And then a golem shows up and just smacks her down, just down.
And it's a really great,
that hurt my hand,
sort of a power play or sort of an interaction there, because Robert Jordan loves to build people up and then tear them down.
Why do you build me up? Robert Jordan, just to let me down. Mess me around in the worst of all. Your wheel stops, baby, when I say it does. Except that it doesn't.
I need you.
I need you.
Well, then anyone, Jordan, to keep us rolling along.
So why don't you mic discipline Black Tower podcast?
We have no mic discipline. So, and then Nynaeve, I can talk. Words are hard. Nynaeve stands at the doorway, takes on both of the Black Sisters, and starts, while taking on both of the Black Sisters, starts berating the kin to help her because she can't do it all by herself. And she tells Elaine, go get the bull. Elaine goes, got it. She goes burning
it's not just
upstairs.
the Kin and the Aes Sedai, by the way. There's some Windfinders with them as well.
There's a whole squad of people.
Squad.
Because at this point in time, Nynaeve has she been reunited with Lan? She has. Because wait,
No, she is not by the time that this happens.
I think
He's
she
not
has.
Yeah, it has not happened by now.
Whatever.
Lan is not
There's
Correct.
also
Because from the point they're
soldiers.
reunited, Lan is never away from Nynaeve until she opens the
This
gateway
is-
to the border.
He is either next to
Right.
or inside of Nynaeve, basically until the end of until he goes to
and
the
that's
Borderlands.
Yeah. And that's I was thinking that Nynaeve reunited with him while she was on a river ship on her way to yes, she has reunited with Lan because she was on her way to the sea folk when Moghedien attacked her and Lan saved her. So Lan is at this battle fighting people in the street while Matt is upstairs fighting the Golem. Boom.
No, he's right. He is right. That is accurate.
High Heron Mark sword. So they're fighting. They have this huge battle, and the Golem is basically laying waste to everyone. Matt comes in. Elaine is on the ground. She is down. Queen down. Queen down. Matt comes in, starts fighting the Golem, and by sheer dumb luck, a theme with Matt, if you hadn't noticed, the Foxhead medallion falls out of his shirt and onto the Golem's cheek and starts sizzling, right? Burning the flesh of the Golem.
He says it smells
which
like
is the only thing
bacon.
that's been known to harm a Golem, even in the Age of Legends. At this point in time, nothing has been known to harm the Golem. So, and as a matter of fact, this is the first time we've ever even heard of a Golem. Nobody even knows that a Golem exists. And the only reason Matt knows what it is because of his memories.
They talked about them before, but we've never met one.
They say that there was a Golem in a stasis box that one of the Forsaken gets.
I think it's during one of the Forsaken POVs. Like they referenced that they existed, but it's kind of
yes, nobody
in
in
the
the
same
main
list of like
cast.
they're just making a list. Like in the time that we hear about the Golem the first time, it's not like in detail. They just they talk about it, amongst a bunch of other things like glow bulbs and shock lances, and rumor is that there's even a Golem in a stasis
and a show wing.
So yeah,
exactly.
So we don't even know that there's one loose until this happened.
Correct.
Exactly.
So and even in this scene, it's very apparent why the medallion is so effective against the Golem. It just requires a little bit of thought and a little bit of breaking beyond the Robert Jordan didn't write it out blatantly and plainly for us to read, and I actually have to think for more than 5 seconds for myself. Sorry, it's very, very passionate.
No, you're good.
Some things that are going on. So at the time we're recording, it's just some things that are going on in the fandom right now, where there's a predominant theory about certain things that basically amounts to it wasn't directly splayed out for me to read and get immediately, so therefore it doesn't exist. Into that's just lazy reading. Again.
Continue.
But yeah, sorry. Continue with the Golem.
So they were able to drive the Golem off out of pure shock and fear. The Golem's been around for thousands of years. Granted, most of that was in a stasis box, but nothing has ever hurt him. Nothing has ever caused any kind of harm. And the Golem runs. They were able to recover. Nynaeve comes up and heals Elaine, and they were able to recover the Bowl of the Winds, as well as a huge cache of what is mostly junk. And we all think that, hey, good job, victory. And this is actually one of the climactic points of this particular book, which I believe is book 7. I'm going to say it's book 7. Yes, it is book 7, because at the beginning of book 8, it's a book. It's the Crown of Swords, and at the beginning of Path of Daggers is when they actually use the Bowl of the Winds. So they they were able to recover a large chunk of the items that were in this cache, as well as the Bowl of the Winds. They've got the bargain with the wind finders. They were able to recover, and they
Which
think,
is an
hey,
absolutely
we're good.
shit bargain, but they couldn't do better.
And they say, okay, now it's time to use the Bowl of the Winds. Where are we going to go to do it? We need to go someplace safe and secure. Oh no, how are we going to get the sea
The
bolt
farm.
to go out to the kin farm, because that's where we obviously need to go. And they kind of use Matt again. And this is kind of Elaine's idea. But it's also, it's something that spawned from the Aes Sedai kind of meeting where they were like, Matt was really actually pretty useful in finding the Bowl of the Winds. If he wasn't useful in finding the Bowl of the Winds, he did find it by himself. And that's power as a Taviran that we
I don't
really
need no woman. Just the
So
dark
they
ones
say-
on luck.
Right, exactly. So they say, we're going to do this. And when we finalize the terms of the bargain with the Sea Folk, or not necessarily finalize because he's already finalized them, but when we actually begin to implement the terms of the bargain with the Sea Folk, we're going to want Matt there. Matt storms into their meeting and he's pissed. He's had enough. He doesn't like being used. He's yelling at everybody, and he looks at the mistress of the winds, the mistress of Wayfinder. I can't remember what her
the
title is.
Wayfinder.
Whatever she is.
The mistress of the
and
ships.
he looks at her and says, he's mistress of ships. Thank you. And he says something along the lines of, well, consider me of the master of blades, and my blades are bare. And all the sea folk are like, what the fuck just happened? And Matt doesn't even necessarily know what it
I
means.
just love the
but
part
he
where
knows,
Matt looks at him and says, listen here, you daughter of the sands.
yes. He's like, I don't know what that means, but it's an insult. And all those sea finders are like, ooh.
And it's like the worst insult. Like, if it's not the worst, it's the second worst insult you can give to a member of the sea folk. And they're all just like, le gasp.
Exactly.
Well, and yet they're also
he
like,
tells them-
I'm so hurt, but I'm also so intrigued, because we haven't heard that from a person who lives on land in so fucking long.
Yeah. So he tells them he basically tells them, this is what we're going to do. You're going to do it. You're going to be happy with it. And so let it be done under the light. Kisses his fingers and puts it to her lips. And then he like grabs her hand, and she does the same and strikes the bargain. And they travel out to the
This
farm.
is the first time we get to see a Taviran make a bargain with the sea folk.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's not nearly as
Well-
spectacular as the one we see later.
Right. Well, the one we see later is only kind of a half of a bargain.
Well,
too,
yeah,
though.
Correct.
At least half the bargain.
He
made,
kicks
but-
it
so
off
this one-
and then goes box, 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 box.
Yeah,
and
I
has
mean, well,
to
so
leave.
the one that Matt does, it's a very quick bargain. It's a very short bargain, and it starts and is done almost as fast as it began.
Correct.
Versus the one we see later on with Rand being
Just
one
like
that
Andrew getting jiggy with it. Boom!
No. Jiggy with it.
I'm sorry, Andrew. I had to pick one of you, and it was.
it's fine. It's fine.
I love
I will
you,
say
buddy.
this right now. I don't care if it's an unpopular opinion. Will Smith is one of the greatest rappers of all time. And this is a hill I will die on. I'm just saying. Will Smith, I know you're a longtime fan, longtime listener. You are just awesome. If we could have you on the show, I'd love to have you on.
Yeah,
Also,
Will Smith, you want to come on
unpopular-
and talk Wheel of Time in your future role in the TV show? Go for it.
Maybe even freestyle a couple of bars about the
Yeah.
wheel.
It's okay.
You're gonna be
I'm also
be
gonna
one of the
throw
Sean
out-
Chan lords. So.
I'm also going to throw out unpopular opinion. Eddie Murphy and She Wants to Party All the Time sounds more like Michael Jackson than Michael Jackson does. Just saying. Go listen
Talking
to it.
earlier or later, Michael?
Later,
Okay.
Michael.
Yeah, that's
later,
actually a defining factor. Okay.
Yeah, later,
Okay.
Michael.
Okay.
Just saying. Anyway,
I'll
so
I'll
he
hear
makes
your
this bargain, and then they go out to
really
the
just
farm.
hit what?
What?
You said he makes this bargain, which is really just Matt telling them what's what.
Yeah, basically.
It's Matt's turn for the big dick energy.
Oh yeah. No, it's everybody gets a chance.
More like
So
the
they go
biggest
out to the
Chandari energy.
farm.
I
Go ahead, Daniel.
see what you did there. But yeah,
Ashendare.
so all of the kin and all of the Aes Sedai that aren't allied as Aes Sedai, and the vast majority, and a handful of the Windfinders from the Athan Mier go out to the farm, and they use the Bowl of the Winds at the farm. But as they're doing this, and this is kind of important, two things happen when they're leaving Abu Dar. Number one, the golem watches them leave. It is sitting up on a bridge, and it watches them leave, and it goes, oh man, you guys look tasty. I really want to eat y'all. And then
he also responds. It's actually one of the Forsaken, right? Because one of the Forsaken kills someone, and the golem is attracted to the warm blood afterwards, and he can detect the power of the gateway.
Correct. That is true.
I think it was Moradin who watches.
Correct.
Yeah. I just love what they do with the gateway.
Yes, and then the other important part of that,
completely unintentional,
is that on the other side of the gateway, Avienda makes the gateway out. And as she steps through, or as they are stepping through, Avienda feels like someone is watching them. Avienda feels the hairs on the back of her head stand up and does not feel comfortable or safe.
Pretty long hair. She turns Super Saiyan.
So
Super Saiyan God because she's a redhead.
All right.
So she starts to go ahead and usher people through faster, and then she herself goes through. And as soon as she is through, she turns around and starts to unravel the gateway out of Abu Dar instead of just letting it go like everyone else does. And Marililla almost loses her mind.
Yeah. Speaking of all this, I this is something I've noticed and I can't let go of. So at least when you look at most Wheel of Time fans are familiar with the popular image of Elaine, Avienda, and Nynaeve using the Bowl of the Winds, right? Mm-hmm. The description of the wiki says that the woman in the green dress is Elaine, the woman in the middle is Avienda, and the woman on the right is Nynaeve. Agree with Nynaeve. I agree with the placement. I agree with the dress. Why the fuck is Elaine's hair red and Avienda's is strawberry blonde?
That actually kind of makes... I mean, like, again, Elaine's
it don't make no goddamn sense.
No, it does. Elaine's hair is too red, but Avienda's, I actually imagine her with hair like that, because it kind of says that she has blonde red, or that she has red blonde hair. Sorry, it says that she has blonde
to the hair
red
we see portrayed on Avienda in the picture.
I agree, as I said. But it is an artist's
if they brought them
interpretation.
closer to equilibrium, but then lowered the red in Elaine's and heightened the red in Avienda's, fair. What we see right now puts Elaine's hair on Avienda, minus the curls. I'm talking about pure hair color. And it bugs the shit. It bugs me as much as the flag for, what is that, Eric Domon that is still grossly portrayed incorrectly.
Right.
It bugs me. Don't get me wrong, the picture is still fantastic, and I love it to death. Just wish somebody would go in and, of course, the wiki is frequently wrong. A lot of wikis are frequently wrong. That's what happens when you have an openly editable thing.
FYI, she does have a big ass belt knife on her belt, so that one in the middle is Avienda.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it you know who they are, which is why I can say that Elaine and Avienda's hair color is wrong in the picture.
It says you.
Based off of book description. Says the books. Says the book, sir. Strawberry blonde does not mean full-on redhead ginger.
What is Avienda's hair described as in the wiki or in the books?
Red.
Are you sure about that?
I will be in about 2 seconds.
Just only described as red?
Oh, snap.
Hair color, dark reddish.
Okay, fine. Reddish.
He's about
dark
to throw
reddish.
Down, guys.
Either way, in that picture, there is nothing dark or reddish about that hair.
I will say this: the wiki is not 100% correct either.
It never is. That's one thing. Like, I think it's fantastic artwork. I would just love the artist to go in and make those tweaks to make it Correct.
Well, and
So
and
I
that's
will-
actually one of the real benefits we're going to get with the TV show because people are going to have a visual that they are going to accept as canon, and that's going to be it.
Also, I just want to throw out there, I am certainly not saying that that picture is, as accurate as it could be. I'm not.
Be careful with your words, Persian. They may be black.
However, I will say that your argument about hair color right now sounds a lot like some people's argument for race. And I just want you to be aware of that, even though it's not super
shit.
problematic. It
Two
is
totally
true.
different argument.
No, they're not.
Oh shit!
Yes, they are.
There have been a number of people who
I
have
am
said
not
that
arguing
some
that
of
that
the
is not
Emmons Field
Avienda.
5 don't look like how they're described, which is
Or EF5.
accurate. And you have gotten annoyed at people for saying that. So I
I'm annoyed at people
just
for
want to
this.
throw
Casting.
out there.
This is an
I will
artist
say
rendering
this.
of characters that have ample descriptions. 3 very popular, very well described characters because they get appearance descriptions several times across all 14 books. This is an issue that could have
Okay.
very easily been avoided.
I'm going to weigh in on this.
Interesting.
Because
Just like going ahead and
first things
casting
first.
people who could have just fit the descriptions that were
And people
in the
that can
books.
always be edited in post production to closer match the descriptions, which is probably the intent. It has nothing to do
I'm
with
gonna-
skin
I'm gonna
color.
throw this out there.
I don't care if they cast someone that is black, white, Russian, African.
Then why do
pick
you
any
care
race
so
you
much
want.
that this artist decided to go ahead and give them slightly different hair colors than what you think is in the
Because it
books?
is so blatantly, obviously wrong. Only
Okay.
because it
All
it's
right,
like
I
they
can't
literally
convince you,
swapped.
so that's fine. That's fine, Andrew. You're just
My only
gonna
issue
go
is because
ahead and
to
stand
me,
there and
they-
justify yourself, and that's fine.
I mean, yeah, and I can do it all day and all night long. Because the hair color is swapped. I literally can. I can do this all day and all night. I literally have a
All
degree in
day.
BS and people, so
Dude, that's the best degree to have. I'm not going to lie. I, A, have Irish heritage, and B, have kissed the Blarney Stone. So I know it's not a piece of paper from a university, but I do have the gift of gab. And also, God damn it. Stop it, Jack. I also can bullshit all day and all night.
And
I
everything
will
he
say this
sees
right
is
now.
bull and just shit, and everybody around, because he ain't got nobody to listen. I'm bull, dabba dee dabba da, dabba dee dabba da. All right, continue.
Now, thank you everyone for listening to that song. No, you guys, it's true. I mean, there's gonna be some discrepancies. There really are. I mean, because there are imagery and descriptors that are widely accepted to be accurate and true that just simply aren't. And guess what? That's just kind of how the world is. I mean, anybody can look at the same description and come up with 4 different interpretations.
Well, and that's actually what I've
Honestly, at
said
the
a
end of the
number of
day-
times is that, like, when you actually read the description, I mean, you guys have now met me. If you read the description of Randall Thor with how overall, especially like at the beginning of the books, how little is given, but that still gives you
Right.
enough. The description of Randall Thor fits me to a T. You know how many other fucking people it fits to a T? Because it doesn't sit there and give you every detail of what their face looks like and what their body looks like and whatever. A lot. So again, it absolutely also fucking fits Josh Stradowski. So we're fine.
It's true. It's true. And I will agree with you, Andrew, because I do know deep down in my heart of hearts the frustration that comes with when you get someone who goes to so to kind of take some memories from my childhood, right? People would be like Bible lessons and Bible school on Sundays, and they'd say, oh, you've got blah 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 happening and it looks like this. And my question was always, how the fuck do you know what it looks like? And they not obviously asked them those words. Probably something more along the lines of, how do we know what it looks like, teacher? And they'd say something like, well, because the Bible describes it as being 2 spans high and 2 spans long and having a red gem in the middle of it and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, but those are words on a page. Like, those can be interpreted 100 different ways by 100 different people. You could have 20 people look at it and come up with 23 different interpretations of how that's supposed to look.
Correct.
So I understand the frustration there, because I mean, I will be very public and I will say it. I didn't picture the Emmons Fielders as being dark in complexion. I didn't. I just, that wasn't my thing.
And
When I
let me
read the books,
clarify something. Like, I don't want to say I'm frustrated by it, because ultimately,
no, I know
it's an artist rendering, right? And artists always have free will to depict things however they want. My only thing comes from, my thing is, when you get to something that's an artist rendering and you have elements that are expressly laid out for you, you have things that are right. I don't care if they painted Avienda as any race of any character. I don't care if she had the typical, like, I'm married from India dot on her forehead. It doesn't matter to me what race they painted her as, but the aspects of a character that are laid out, that are made prevalent, I think should be represented as much as they can.
So, like the race.
So I don't feel that trying to draw a link between an artist's portrayal of fictional characters and a link between the individuals that are casted to play those characters is fair. But I do think that we should try to make the things that we can make accurate to the books accurate. I mean, we've seen the most recent picture of Rosamund Pike, where she now has dark brown hair, which matches Moraine's description rather than Rosamund Pike's typical blonde hair.
Short blonde hair.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which the hair we see with Rosamund Pike, the last picture we saw, isn't necessarily short. And that kind of stuff I'm not so worried about. But my thing is, whenever you're an artist and you're drawing somebody, you're drawing a fictional character, you're not making a representation of an actor or actress that is already portraying that character. You have the freedom to portray them as whatever race you interpret them as, and you do so based off of the source material. So when you have a character that one is described as a strawberry blonde and the other one is described as a redhead with darkish red hair, why is the one with darkish red hair more of a strawberry blonde and the one that is supposed to be the one with the strawberry blonde hair portrayed as more of a redhead? That's my issue.
No.
Now, if they pretty much had if they had pretty much the same kind of hair color, no problem. That's fine. Darkish red hair being combined with strawberry blonde hair, fine. Whatever. But when it's such a stark contrast, it's so starkly different and wrong. Now, here's the thing. They could be portraying the description as where they're saying Elaine is on the left. They could be thinking that they're saying Elaine is in the middle, which is, we know, wrong by the type of dress and the belt knife. I'd have just as much of an issue with that as I do with the hair color. I don't have an issue with how actors and actresses are going to portray it. And I don't want it to be construed this way. And if anybody is construing it that way or thinks that it might be mean that way, personally, I do take some sort of offense to that, because I when it comes to the TV show and how actors or actresses may portray it, I don't care as long as it's a good show. But an artist rendering where you have everything, where you have the source material at your fingertips, and the only constraint you have to putting it out is your own constraints, then I think the least you can do in terms of such a very minor but telling detail is to do justice to the source material. Because if you didn't have that caption there and you're looking at this picture and you're trying to figure off based off of character descriptions who is who, obviously Nynaeve, it's very easy to tell who Nynaeve is. But then you look at, which one's Elaine and which one's Avienda. It's like, well, the belt knife says Avienda, but the hair color says Elaine. Well, the dress style says Elaine, but the hair color says Avienda. So then you get kind of confused.
No. I see, Andrew, I see where you're coming with that. I appreciate what you're saying, and I get it. And I apologize if I made a comment about casting and race and whatnot that is not appreciated
No,
by
that was totally me.
no, I
Go, Daniel, go.
okay. And whatnot, and I certainly did not mean to offend. That was not the intent, and I do apologize if I did that, because that was definitely not what I meant, and clearly I have said something that was that did do that, and I apologize for it. I just think that it's in I there are a number of things in this picture that are sort of incorrect from certain readings of the descriptions. It's absolutely true. You can't really see Nynaeve's bindi. I mean, it's not actually a bindi, but I don't remember what it's called in the Hadori. No,
Hadori.
Also,
That's what Lan wears. Yeah,
also, Avienda's hair is far too long at this point in the story. And there are a number of other things that are just sort of inaccurate with how I would have pictured the characters. But again, one of the things that I would counsel everyone on, because again, it does go ahead and go into other avenues for other people, not necessarily you. And again, I'm not trying to accuse anyone of anything, but it does easily go into other things of, this isn't accurate to the books, therefore it's wrong. Therefore it's a problem.
With that, I don't want you to think like you didn't offend me. It takes an egregious amount to offend me. My thing is, I know that there are other people that can interpret it that way. Because there's nothing either one of you two guys
Clarification is good.
Sure.
There's really not much anybody could say that could offend me. I mean, might be stuff you say that I don't like, but that's a daily occurrence.
It is one of the things that, as I said, I would counsel everyone, including you, to allow things to be wrong. Allow things that are even well described to be wrong as the way that you pictured them. Because again, I'm not saying that we're not in agreement that in this picture, Avienda's hair and Elaine's hair should really be switched in color. That is accurate. That you and I think Josh has also said it, think that's true. That being said, going ahead and saying, I appreciate artists' freedom to do things, and then telling them that they did something wrong can become problematic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I guess for me, like, I'm not trying to say that the artist did it wrong. I'm just saying that I don't get me wrong, I still absolutely love the illustration that we're talking about.
Right.
But I don't feel that it is accurate to the source material. It doesn't mean it's any less of a fantastic artist rendering. I still love it, and it's still incredibly popular, and I think it should be incredibly popular regardless. I just don't think that it's accurate to the source material, but that doesn't take away from how good of an artist rendition it is.
I think, and if I can throw this in here really quick, I think what happens is artists have artistic license. They do. I'm sorry. They just do. But
you should apologize for all the artists. Thank you.
As a person who beholds art, as a person who looks at art, I have critic license. Now, is my critique valuable? Probably fucking not. Let's be honest. Guys,
I'm glad
I'm not an artist. I don't know if you know that. But I'm fucking not. But as people who live in a free society, if I look at an art and I say, I don't like this art, that's my right. Now, that's not me saying that the artist, the person who created this, is worthless or bad or evil or wrong in any way. That's me saying, I don't like it. It does not spark joy. Now, what I think Andrew's trying to say is that you've got source material. You've got a specific set of traits and characteristics that outline a character and what this character's appearance is. The artist decided to take those and say, I like these things, but I feel like it would be a little bit better if I did it like this.
I mean, it could have been something as simple as that they got the entire artwork done, and as they were finishing it, they didn't look back at, maybe they took notes on whatever, and they like, well, the red hair contrasts very fantastically, which it does, with the green and
Exactly.
gold dress and this kind of dark, dirty blonde, strawberry-ish hair contrasts
Right.
very well with the white dress. It could have been done for purely artistic purposes, and I'm not, and like I've
Exactly.
said, like that's well within their right. My thing is, when it comes to these kind of things, especially when we have forever wanted a TV show to come of it or a movie or whatever, honestly, whatever we could get that wasn't the abomination that shall not be named.
Winter
To
Dragon.
some extent,
Winter Dragon. I'm going to name it. I'm naming
bastard.
it.
You bastard. To some extent, we should be willing to.
Dude, Billy
point out
Zane needs to be in the show. Just saying.
We
Billy
should
Zane
we
needs
should be willing
redemption.
to point out
Agreed.
inaccuracies without being, like, oh, you're wrong, you fucked it all up. Like, no, just saying like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what you did.
You should be
It's
able to
fantastic
express how you
artwork.
feel about an artistic
Yeah,
work.
this fantastic
Agreed.
artwork, this fantastic,
Agreed,
whatever it is
100%.
you've made. But if we're gonna go based off the source material, if you're trying to be as accurate as you can be, then here are areas where maybe there were errors, maybe you can improve, or just simply
Exactly.
proposing an artist with an alternate rendition of it. And I don't think that the artist of this specific image would take any offense to saying like, hey, if we had him on the show or we were talking to him or whatever, not saying that's ever in the plans or potentially, but if you are a Wheel of Time artist and you want to come on and talk about your art, we definitely encourage it and hit us up
You
on.
are more than welcome.
You can hit us
Ariel
up
Burgess,
on anything.
Where are you at?
Yeah, hit us
Come,
up on.
come talk to us.
You can hit us up on Twitter. You can hit us up on email. You can hit us up in the Discord. However you want to do it, and we'll definitely be giving those links here relatively shortly, because this is going to necessitate a part 3 for Elaine.
It is. It really is. Elaine is such a big character, and when we read the first story, and we say, "Oh, we got the main."
To tell Elaine is to
story
tell pretty much the entire
characters.
story. So
It is. Elaine is just too. She's just too big of a part of the story, and it's amazing and absolutely wonderful in every way, and I love it.
But yeah, anyway.
And it will necessitate a part 3. So I guess if I'm gonna start by wrapping this up, because I think I'm going to, because Elaine is such a snoot. She really is. Having said that, I do love Elaine. I think she's a great character, and I think she has some really compelling moments in the story. I really love her arc. There are a couple things that I'm just like, I don't really care, but there are plenty of people in my life that I interact with on a daily basis that I have tremendous respect for, that I don't really need to know every aspect of their life. And Elaine kind of falls into this category. She's great. She's integral to the story. And we know this from book 1 when we talk about Elida's foretelling of the throne of Andor being key to winning at Tarmangaiden. If she's not key to winning Tarmangaiden, I mean, she straight up is. She's a part of the story that cannot be dismissed or excused. I love Elaine. I think she's an amazing character. And that's my final word on part 2 of Dimples and Curls.
There you go. So, I think next week we will be back probably doing a book review, though we do reserve the right to change topics because we do that regularly. So, I think that we'll be coming back with New Spring next week. But
because Min herself is going to be 20 episodes. I promise you. Well, let me say I promise you. I mean that in like
please
an
don't promise that.
Exaggeratory sense.
I'll be here. I'll be here for
episodes.
3 of the 20 episodes. But
you too good
20 episodes, Jesus Christ!
Bastard.
That's like
wrap it up.
45 hours.
Before we wrap it up, you know how we like how we used to do movie quotes all the time? Well, guess what? We have one. We have one for you today, and I have it right now. Let's see if anybody can get it. This episode's movie quote is, "If I have to, I will blast your aeroelastic ass right out of the sky." End quote.
Oh.
All right.
And for those of you that obviously don't know, because I've never talked about it, this is from like one of my top 5 favorite movies. Bay is in it. Real life Bay. who is unfortunately married, and I think actually has a kid with the guy she's married to.
Who's Bay?
I'm not gonna say because I might give away the movie.
Fair
I will
enough.
be more than happy to say after we end the recording.
Fair enough.
I can say that someone in Discord has suggested that it's a Will Smith movie with an AI plane, and they are at least partially incorrect in the fact that Will Smith is not in the movie.
All right,
It's a different famous African American actor.
Ooh. All right. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for coming and listening live. For those of you who joined us and threw us off on tangent after tangent after tangent, as well as all of those of you who are listening currently on Friday or Saturday or sometime in the future. But enjoy the rest of your week. If you are thinking of things that you would like to tell us about feedback that you have for us, positive or negative, as we said, we were going to throw out all of those ways to contact us. They're pretty simple. Number one is going to be contacting us through Twitter at Tower Podcast. If you don't want to go ahead and do it through social media, you can always go ahead and let us know through our email at blacktowerpod@gmail.com. We definitely recommend that you go and
actually have an email to talk about. I'm sorry. I feel like such an asshole for talking in the middle of you talking.
Go ahead.
But I just remembered we got this fantastic email from an individual named Glee Man, 2 separate words. The subject line, of course, was Ashaman Kill, which immediately grabbed our attention.
Correct.
Got us all in the.
You can ask Daniel and Josh, like, because the emails come to my phone and I let it just notify me when we have emails. I immediately got the notification. I saw Ashaman Kill, which I actually have as part of my sleeve tattoo. And so I'm going to read the email for you guys. And this is obviously an individual that I think they're starting closer to the beginning of when the podcast started. So it says, "Dearest Dark Tower representatives, hail from the coldest reaches of the borderlands. I found you following missives from the White Tower. The parallels are uncanny. As I told the Aes Sedai, I'm a year and a half too late. While listening to the White Tower, I started to develop the same idea that there needed to be a male counterpoint called the Black Tower. For those of you that may not know, that is pretty much exactly how this podcast came to be.
Oh,
Lo and behold, about 2 episodes later, they announced they had been approached by a duo wanting to put together a Black Tower, and thus my hopes were dashed. Sorry, Glee Man. Didn't mean to dash your hopes almost 2 years ago. But Aaron and I kind of beat you to it. And then now it's, the 3 of us.
just the 3 of us.
Continuing on. And so I turned my back on glory, wrapped myself in my patched cloak, and put my feet to the road. It must be a man thing, as I had decided it needed drums in the intro. And to be different from the White Tower, which we definitely are, 100% guaranteed, should discuss themes from these stories in the Wheel of Time. Bully for you boys, bully. You gave me everything I wanted in a complimentary show with me having to do any of the work. I think it meant without me having to do any of the work. But you're welcome to do some of the work and suggest stuff. Bouncing between missives from the Black Tower and the White. It may take me a while to get to the end of your run. I hope, just like the Wheel of Time, there is no end to the run. But he says, you guys keep doing you. And thank you for your service. GM, translated to Common Chant, the Fourth Age. P.S. At times, Andrew sounds like Hank Hill talking Wheel of Time. No offense meant, not like it's a bad thing. I love it. And I am Andrew. I got your Ashaman and Ashaman accessories.
Got your Ashaman. Glee Man, I would challenge you, good sir. Why don't we have a Gleeman podcast? Huh?
We do.
Shush.
I think there is one called The Gleeman, but
Is there?
There is. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I know that there is a podcast with Gleeman in the title.
Gleeman Radios.
That's one of
Gleeman
them.
Radios Return to the Wheel of Time. Trying to think if I know any more because they're on Podbean as well.
Gleeman Tales.
There are a couple at least. As I said, I cannot remember them offhand. Anyway,
do you know what?
But
Gleeman
there
Radio
are actually
hasn't
a number of Gleeman in the story too.
Gleeman Radio hasn't posted since September 5th of 2019, so it must be Gleeman Tales.
Anyway, point being.
But thank you so much for your email, Gleeman.
You're an awesome guy.
Indeed.
It's a fantastic email, and I love how just in Wheel of Time it was translated to common chant. And me being compared to Hank Hill. I fucking love it.
He probably was actually grumbling as he typed that, as it would have been better in high chant.
Oh, absolutely.
But you don't appreciate that. Put in common chant.
Yeah. I mean, we're all a bunch of fucking Ashaman. We wouldn't have understood high chant.
A bunch of plebes. Let's just say it like
Which one of us needs to probably respond to that email?
We probably will.
Not it.
That'll probably.
All right, I'll do it.
Nose goes?
I love it, but not
I got it. I will gladly respond.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. You guys are awesome. We love you. We know you love us.
Dang it, Josh.
And
there's something wrong with that boy. But yes, thank you all again. Thank you to our live listeners. If you would like to be a live listener, please join us next week. We're going to be on a little earlier so that we can be done with our episode before we go on another thing. So
I don't know if it's been released to the public yet.
I know. That's why I said before we go on another thing. Jesus.
Oh.
Then you can go ahead and join us live because it's super fun. As you can see, or as you might have heard throughout, we were distracted by lots of things. We were having lots of fun with all of the people who were listening live, and it's always an adventure.
Come and distract us. Come and distract us in the live chat.
And if you break one of us, you will get commented on.
Yeah, that's, Jack once again brought up in the podcast because he broke Josh.
Yep.
Probably again. It probably is more than the first time.
Add it to the I Broke Josh compilation. Because apparently that's a thing that needs to happen is broken Josh compilation.
Yeah. I absolutely love I absolutely love doing this live. The people that come and listen to this. You guys are absolutely fantastic. For so many ways. Like, you make us laugh while we're doing the podcast. You bring up things we haven't thought about during the podcast. And even more important, we get shit wrong, or at least one of us does. And you point out, like, hey, actually, no, this didn't happen yet, or this happened, or this
He's
is how
talking
it's
about
done.
me. I'm the
no,
one who
I definitely get shit wrong. I get shit wrong far more than the rest of us.
I'm not gonna lie. The only reason
Daniel can't see hair color, but it is what it is. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Is because I'm in the middle of my reread.
You're in the middle of your reread?
That's the only reason I'm able to say anything at all, because I'm in the middle of my reread.
Your reread?
I just started reread.
Anyway, guys.
I just started Winter's Heart.
Even if you listen live, if you want to help us out a ton, definitely go on Podbean. You can follow us on Podbean, download the episodes. Having followers on Podbean, having episode downloads, it severely helps with the analytics. The higher the analytics, the higher exposure. The higher exposure, the higher chance that other wacky people like the rest of us come into the Discord and become part of the conversation, and all that fun stuff. And because of the nature of what the Black Tower podcast is, it's more likely to be those people that have already read through the entire series, and you don't have to worry about spoiling. That's one of the lucky things we have in our Discord and the show, of course. Except on rare occasion, there's not really a whole lot of people that haven't finished the series or haven't finished enough of the series to avoid being spoiled. And that's one of the things that I feel that a lot of people kind of overlook or don't enjoy as much as they should, is being able to have that place where you can go and you can say as much as you want without spoiling. Because I think in the entire 120 or so plus people in our Discord, there's only like maybe a literal handful that haven't finished the series because of the nature of what we do here.
Correct.
So bring your friends that have finished the series, or tell them how awesome it is to be a part of the Black Tower Discord, these live episodes and the like, and help encourage them to finish the series and come and join us.
Yeah.
We still do want to try in the future. Of course, today's schedule mandated that we started when we did. So those of you that are listening live, and we are going to, I am going to shout you out right now. That is Smack Jack Arcanus and Dragon Reeds was with us for a little bit at the beginning. Dragon Reader, sorry, thank you. Was with us a little bit at the beginning. At the time we started recording this, Dusty Will was doing their live interview episode with Brandon Sanderson.
Damn.
So it means a lot. It means a lot that you guys would come and listen to us live. There's a part of me that would be flattered if you were listening to only us. There's another part of me that hopes that you were kind of switching back and forth, listening to both. So, and who knows, maybe in the future we'll be able to have Brandon Sanderson on here.
That'd be great.
I haven't read enough.
Don't play with my heart, Andrew.
I haven't read enough of the Cosmere to be able to talk about anything other than the Wheel of Time. So, and by saying I haven't read enough of the Cosmere, meaning I haven't read any other episodes.
I have played Magic with Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, you told us.
And he kicked my ass. I'm going to tell you again.
No, sorry,
too,
that was
okay? It's like one of the few flexes I have, Daniel.
No, I was just all right. You know what? Bye, guys.
Love you, Daniel.
But
love you, Andrew. You guys are awesome. I love Elaine
here, even if you're listening live. You need to go back because, and I'm going to say this for like in a moment of self-confidence, our intro for this episode, boys, ladies,
it's fantastic,
gentlemen, so good.
It might be the best intro I've ever heard on anything ever.
Yeah.
It was good, dude. You done good, son.
I'm so inspired that it doesn't fit the exact genre, but I am wearing my Rick and Morty shirt. So
you go, boy.
They're at least in a spacecraft. But if you haven't heard
Rick and Morty went Lone Wolf and Cub.
You've not seen
Lone Wolf and Cub, you need to. One of the greatest samurai film series of all time. Go watch it.
When the episode comes out.
Anyway, Elaine, this has been Elaine Part 2 from all of us at the Black Tower. Daniel, take us out. You're good.
From all of us here at the Black Tower Podcast, I have been Daniel.
I have been a soused.
A what?
Soused. You know, alcohol.
Soused?
I've been tainted.
Josh,
I've been Josh.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I forgot your name for a minute. And I have been Andrew.
And thank you for joining us. We bid you a farewell. Have a lovely tomorrow. And in case we don't see you again, bye-bye.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Good morning. Good evening. Good
night,
afternoon and good night. And
good night.
You guys are so
good job. Good job on part 2 of satisfying Elaine. But we will finish her next time. Finish him. Or her. Finish her. So, guys.
Good night.